And welcome everybody to the Wild Tuesday episode.
Steve, man. What's
Fat Guys on a Little Podcast, episode 139. I am your co-host Steve, and always joined by
Charles.
And via satellite, Bill. You're still with us. How you doing, Bill?
Yeah, I'm still with you. I'm
Excellent. Good. So everyone's here. We're all happy. We're all going to have a great show. We're going to preview some upcoming shows and ideas we've got coming for you. And then we're going to eat some very dry, fruity Pebble snacks.
Dude, they're going to be tasty.
They're crisp.
You couldn't be more wrong.
We're going to talk about the second coming of Eddie Murphy and Coming to America.
Yeah, I hope you guys both... Did you guys both watch?
Yes, we both
watched.
watched.
Okay,
Yep.
great. I want the full review. I am intrigued by both of you. Steve gave me a little teaser in the midweek there when I kind of hit him up about it.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to talk about that shitty Paramount Network preview. Shitty Paramount Network will be on my...
But before we go any further, I don't know if anyone can see this.
Let me flip the camera so everyone can...
Which one?
No, you're on your camera. Yeah, I got the...
Local celebrity Tyler Elkins has got a new T-shirt shop, and I bought myself one. Fat Guy 5X.
Why didn't you tell me? I'd have kicked you some cash when you picked one.
Oh, okay. Well, you can go to. It's called TeePublic. TeePublic.com.
Let me put you on the main here so people can see.
And look for Three Wise Men Media,
which is also what he did his comic book over.
Yes,
That's
yes.
his media group that he did.
And they have a variety of shirts. They also have hoodies. They got the
wait,
comic book.
Pause.
Mm-hmm.
What sizes do they range? Because
this is 5XL.
Okay, right.
It kind of feels good. I don't know if I'm going to wash it. Going to turn to 2XL.
Yeah,
but right now it's not a bad size.
Okay.
Didn't take long, about 5 days. Showed up at the house. So sometimes these off-brand websites take like 3 weeks to show up.
Cool.
I was like, is it going to be here by the time the podcast comes around? Prices. This was like $15 plus $6
that's
shipping.
not crazy.
Yeah, the shipping's a little much for a light T-shirt. But,
Okay,
all right.
calm down, Amazon. Not everything can be 2 days.
But
where does one obtain this merch?
TeePublic.com, and then you have to search for
TEE Public?
TeePublic.com, and you got to search for the letter YS Men Media, Three Wise Men Media, what they go by, and you'll see a little shop pop up. They got the Wrecking Ball. They're friends with the guys, the Wrecking Ball from Clash.
Okay, yeah.
It's actually kind of funny.
Well, I would assume you'd
it's
link...
marked out. It says Meatball when we start calling them that. We should get royalties on that.
Yeah, what the hell? You're welcome, Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, so
that's still kind of fun when we used to do that. But
$20 a shirt. They actually went up $5. I had a deal because it was when they opened the.
That's
store,
cool though. But
still, not
support
good,
your
bad.
local Clash Wrestling.
Yes.
Tyler, friend of the show. Shout out to him. You can probably link to that through his Facebook page, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
and all that kind of stuff.
And
too.
Instagram. His Instagram
Okay.
has a link to it.
Okay.
So Caveman.
How about does his OnlyFans go to? Can I get on his OnlyFans?
No, he just likes to diddle himself and his brother.
I want to make sure.
His brother has a lot of weird videos on his OnlyFans.
Okay.
I don't know what's happening there. They like to tickle each other's beards. It's a whole
hey,
thing.
man, he's got bills to pay.
So we're going to preview a little bit what's coming up next week. Now, of course, we're going to have Gabe Wigington live via satellite from Cincinnati, Ohio himself. And we are going to each, out of the four of us, are going to pick a bracket in this after Selection Sunday. And then each one of us is going to have a winner from our division. And then we're going to put money on our division winner and see which one of us makes money.
Well, you're saying the region, right? So,
Yeah.
the four regions are going to get divided up amongst us. We'll let Steve pick a region and assign BV a region. I'll take a region. Steve will. And then whatever region Michigan's in, give us the game.
Yeah. And we'll go.
We want to watch him put his money where his mouth is.
And Gerald,
I think we should. I'm sorry. I think we should. You should assign regions prior, other than the fact that Gabe needs Michigan. You should assign those prior to the selection show.
Oh, okay. That doesn't make me sense to me. I don't know anything about college basketball.
I don't know.
I just
inside track.
MSU's going to win it all, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So
If they make the tournament.
yeah, if they make, they're going to run if they make it. I don't know, but yeah. So
for a
that
bubble.
one, and then also later on, maybe next month or in May, we're going to get Dave. How does he say his last name again?
Havenstein. Yeah, we like to
Havenstein.
get him, yeah.
Tyler, of course, you're welcome as well. We're going to have a 64-man wrestling tournament. We're going to have
The Wrestling Royale, we'll
We're
call
going
it.
to break it down. We're going to seed all the wrestlers Each person gets one veto, and we're gonna go round by round, pick by pick, and pick our favorite wrestler. So first round, you might get Hulk Hogan versus Santino Marella, and Big V will pick Hulk Hogan, and I can say veto Santino Marella. I'm knocking Hogan out, by the way, somewhere along that line. I'm gonna knock him out.
You're holding your veto.
I'm holding my veto just for Hogan.
Wow,
because I don't like him.
That's a heel move. Just
yes, that's true. I don't know who Dave likes, but Hogan's on my hit list already. But it'll be fun. Charles will be the MC of the night.
Yeah, I'll tech it.
He'll keep it moving, so we're not here for 7 hours.
Although I can't make any promises.
When we just start talking about wrestling, it's hard.
Yeah.
But the real question will be, how far will Stan the Lariat Hansen make?
Dude, I don't know. BV's gonna push. So.
Yeah, no,
I'm surprised. I mean, are you going to let him in the tournament? I mean,
we need lower seeds. So
I'm just saying.
wow.
I'm already calling fall on BV.
We already figured
stuff.
out we're gonna make a spreadsheet of like 1 through 100 or whatever. And
I'm gonna call it right now. Speaking of that,
yes.
As the technician and the host moderator, I get one veto.
Oh, you can have one.
I want one veto.
Now,
and I'm looking right at you, BV.
Can we have veto on
Shocking.
veto crime? We'll do that too. So say you veto Stan Hansen, then
No,
Bill
so-
could use his veto to put Stan Hansen back in.
So are we going to, so we can veto the veto?
Yeah, but you only get one.
Is that a filibuster? Are we trying to?
So are we going to look at this as, who should actually win, or is this like who we like the best, or how's that going
It's
to work?
amongst the whole crew who who will win the whole thing.
What me, you, and probably Gabe will do is I'm going to make a list of 100 wrestlers.
Well, if you get 5 guys, in theory, you guys could all vote into a situation too. So, like, in other words, when it gets down to the final 4 or whatever, you guys you can go best of 5 or whatever.
Oh, that's
and
true.
Yeah, if you get
The final 4 we can all vote on.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And I ain't voting for Hogan.
There should be, and it should be no vetoes at Final Four. Like you have to use your veto.
Yeah,
before
that's
the-
good. See, we're making this game show up as we go.
What I was wondering is, like, what criteria are we using to pick winners?
Well,
It doesn't matter. You're putting too many
if
rules.
it's your pick, and it's 2 wrestlers, you only like one of them, you pick the one you like. It doesn't. We're not basing it on anything rational.
So the most popular wrestler is going to win this.
Yeah, well, maybe not.
Unless you 5 idiots get
I
together.
guarantee Dave's taste is different than mine and yours, and I know Tyler's taste is different than mine and yours.
I'm going to use my veto on someone everybody loves. Fuck you all.
You're like,
that's what Steve
you're like,
is.
goodbye, Stone Cold. You're like, what? We're gonna have some weird winner. Akeem the African Gene won the wrestling.
All
Who
fun
will
and
be
games
the
till-
number 1 wrestler of the wrestling or the Fat Guys Little Podcast?
Big boss,
all,
man.
all
It'd be
fun and
someone
games
black.
till the great Muda pulls off the upset on The Rock.
Yeah, well, apparently we got to put Muda in there because everyone's a fan.
Well, Muda should be in there.
Oh,
He's definitely in the top 64 of modern wrestlers, I believe.
Oh my God! So I don't. We'll work out the details.
We're gonna keep it to singles wrestlers, though. All right. So
Yeah.
Wait, so Demolition doesn't qualify?
no, Demolition, Road Warriors.
No, but
Hard
Barry
Foundation.
The
Darsow.
Bush
Bret Hart
Whackers
himself-
don't.
Bret Hart himself can qualify. So
What about the Montreal Screw Job? At what point?
yeah,
That was single wrestlers, man. What are you talking about that?
we need to find those old black and white wrestling magazines. You have the top 100 in those all the time.
Oh,
We
you
just
can
copied
pull
them.
those up on the internet.
Wow, they're on the internet.
It's the
still?
PWI 500. They do it every year.
We need the PW 500 from like 1998. Not even a recent one.
go.
That'd be hilarious.
So stay tuned to the show for this wrestling hilarity
Every-
because this is what happens when we run out of sports, people.
Every female listener will tune out immediately. My wife's like, I couldn't listen. It was all wrestling.
If you're not interested in a deep dive into professional wrestling, you probably shouldn't listen to that one.
Yeah, and if you're not down with that, oh, sorry. Anyways,
Yeah, we do have 2 words for you.
so
And unfortunately for me, I got to be in the room. I'm sorry.
yes, you'll enjoy the
I know,
randomness
it's
of
very
it all.
fun.
So, all right. So, first up, in this spring, we have a timeline. My daughter is a junior in high school at Annapolis High School, Dearborn Heights.
Been on the show.
Been on the show.
Yeah.
Her and Nathan will be on eventually. I just got to line up their work schedules. They were supposed to be on this week.
They
but
got a lot of coals on the fire.
she
They're
had
very
to serve a
busy
lot of
people.
wingdings tonight. She couldn't make it. I don't see her much, to be honest with you. She goes to work at 4. I get home at 5.
That ain't bad.
And she's gone till she don't get home till 10. I'm in bed by 9:30. So I see her in the morning for about 10 minutes where she's a zombie. She's the worst morning person I've ever met in my life. So we started the Holly College Tour 2021. So she wants to get a feel for what college
Well,
she
she's
wants
in the
to go
twilight of her junior year.
Yes.
So in theory, she's gonna have to start narrowing it down.
Yep.
to
Next
what
month,
her intentions are.
Next
after
month, she's
college-
taking
or
the
after high school.
the SAT at Annapolis. She's taking that
How
test.
did she do on the PSAT? Did she take the PSAT? Did she do
She
well?
took it back in November. She said she did okay.
She wants to improve on
She didn't do as good as she wanted to do. So
it's SAT now instead of ACT?
I think they have both.
I think they do both. Yeah,
But
Heather's mentioned they've changed. I think they standardize tests like the ACT. I think everyone takes the ACT at this point or something.
I don't know. Well, the funny thing is, and I'm going to tell you. So the first stop was Central Michigan University this past weekend, this Saturday, but they'll accept kids who don't take the tests. So you don't even have to take the test anymore to qualify for college.
Because they want to give you a student loan no matter what you do.
Yeah, well, that and because of the COVID and stuff they're claiming. So I think that this year, next year, you don't even have to take those tests. So if you do bad on that test, I wouldn't even put it on my application. I'd be like, oh, I didn't get around to the test, But so we went
bad on that test. You shouldn't be going to Central.
Yeah, that's true. So Central Michigan University, located in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, which is north of Lansing, almost a little, what are we going to say, right about here?
Yeah, mid-mid, they call it kind of thing.
You can see that there. About a 2-hour and 20-minute drive from my house in Taylor, Michigan. We cruised up there. Nice little town. They got all the.
I've never been. I've never been.
Never been there?
No.
Okay, so you take 96 up to 127.
You kind of just roll it, right?
Yeah, and then 127 takes you right into town. The only thing I found weird was there's no billboards or signs for it anywhere. So there's more ads for Central down here than they are up there. I thought that was kind of funny.
We got to get all those idiots to go up there.
Yeah.
How big is the physical campus? Is it?
It's pretty large. It's probably a 2 or 3 square miles. Cause all the football and the sports stuff is off to the right, and then the admissions and school and stuff is back.
Like
to
the
left.
academics is one.
You
got to
hike a little bit to get to the football football field and stuff like that.
I mean, when you're just reeking up and tearing up the MAC like they are, you got to stay separate.
You get that random lineman that goes to the Chiefs.
The Raisin Bowl doesn't win itself every year.
Yeah. So we went up there. It was the whole thing. It was about 10 students all together. Holly was the only junior. There was a bunch of seniors. We sat in an auditorium. They gave us a big spiel and PowerPoint.
Is it like another kid from the school, or is it like administrators from the school? Like
in the audience? No, it's like parents and others
talking to you from the university.
The head of the administration is talking to you.
Okay.
His name is Kevin. He's 55 years old, but he has 2 kids that graduated from Central. Very nice man.
Is he a Virgo? You know an awful lot about Kevin.
He tells you everything.
Yeah, wow.
And then, so like I said, there's about 10 sets of students and families sitting in the crowd. And they go over to everything, your lunch price, or your dorms and everything like that. You can bring your vehicle. They're one of the few schools that allows freshmen to have vehicles on campus, but there's a $125 semester parking fee you got to pay, so that's a little bit of annoyance. Yeah, and then I thought this was funny. Maybe I'm just old, not a touch, but the dorms are actually co-ed. So the room you're in will be with another woman or another girl or boy.
The physical room you reside in
is 2 girls.
Nonetheless, the hallway,
but next door in the next room
be 2 dudes.
Is Jeff and Chad next
Holy
door.
Shit.
I was talking to Michelle. I was like, what do you think's going on in them dorms?
Yeah, whoa.
Yeah, so it's co-ed dorms. Maybe
How many
old.
RAs are in that hallway or anything like that?
They said they just have 1 per building. There's 4 buildings. There's the north, the south, the west, and the towers. They call them some reason, or the east and the towers. There's no west.
Where's building 69?
I know.
Bang, bang, bang,
my
bang, bang, bang,
So
bang.
they kind of did that. I thought that was a little weird.
Oof.
And then here's the funny thing. So he's going.
How does a dorm look? Like, does it
We
look like
actually-
a bad
They didn't
hotel?
show them to us. They didn't.
Was it a ghost town because of COVID?
We were on a Saturday too,
okay.
so it wasn't a lot of. There were some students here and there, but it wasn't a lot. But they are starting slowly coming back.
Okay.
And they reduced the students per dorm. So it used to be 4, now it's only 2. So there's 2 beds, 2 desks, and that's it.
Okay.
And they do provide those because I was wondering about that too. It's like, do I got to buy her a bedroom set? I don't know how this works. No, there's a bed there. Even though, do you want to use that mattress? Because you know it's been going on for 4 years at that place.
Skate.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very sticky, crunchy mattress. I don't
Dude, there's a
know.
lot of life happening up in Central.
Yeah, so, but the one thing that was funny, he's going through all these slides and he's taking his time and talk. So they finally pull up the slide with the tuition and the money. He literally only had it up for like 10 seconds. And here's how much it costs. All right. So, anyways, I was like, "Could you back that up for a minute?"
Did you say
Yes,
that?
I did say that. He backed it up. It was in the pamphlet too. I didn't know it was in the pamphlet, but
But if you had any questions, now's the time to ask.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? Like,
So
he's there to sell you on the university, not the other way around.
yeah. So the price breaks down to, and I'm sorry, Central, if you didn't want this out there.
Who gives a shit?
$27,000 a year. That's 15 credit hours a semester, 2 semesters a year. So $27,000. Like I said, $10,000 of it is room and board. And
is she required to stay on campus for a certain amount of
the
like 2
first
years?
2 years? Yeah.
So in theory, if Holly got grown enough and you trusted her enough, she could, in theory, drop her housing costs by moving out into like a little apartment in her 3rd year or something like that too, right?
If it was cheaper, I guess. I don't know how the prices of houses.
I don't know how any of that works.
Of the apartments up there.
You have to learn a lot of process.
But she's 2 years at least in the dorm. So, and then of course, just based on her grade point average, she does qualify for a scholarship with about $6 to $7 grand off. So she's looking at probably, excuse me, I got the hiccups, $20,000 a year. 80,000 by the time she's done.
Jesus.
So that's that.
How much was your house in Taylor?
115,000. So not much difference. She could buy my house by the time she graduated.
I'm just saying, like we're sitting in a $120,000 house talking to you right now, ladies.
Yeah, I know. And she's gonna pay 80 grand for school. Now that's without scholarships. That's without grants. And other
I
stuff.
get it. But
We can get it
still,
down a little
man.
bit, but she's still.
And these days, that's reasonable for tuition.
Yeah.
Now Central does not have 2 tuitions. A lot of
In state, out of state.
Yeah, there isn't. So they have 1 tuition, which doesn't benefit Holly because being a Michigan resident, So because there's a kid from Indiana there, and he made that big statement about that. He go, we have 1. Now the reason why she picked Central, and I didn't know this until I went there. The guy told us they are traditionally a teaching and business school, so they specialize in teachers.
That's something you have to ask the teacher in the house about.
Yeah,
whether or not.
I didn't know that. Holly obviously knew it. That's why she picked that school.
I've never, admittedly, from Heather and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know them. I thought that Eastern was the big place where a lot of people who became teachers
From what I heard,
went to.
Eastern was in the 90s, but they've kind of
and they
slipped.
pivoted away from it or something?
But we did Google it when we got home because we were like, is that guy full of shit? But in the top 5 schools for teaching degrees in the state of Michigan, Central is one, Western is another one, Eastern is still another one, Grand Valley State, ironically enough, is on there, and University of Michigan is on there. So all 5 of those, I think that was the top 5. Could be off by a
Now
state.
ask yourself.
What
is the #1 school for packaging design in the state of Michigan?
That
I know this. It's Michigan State. It's actually nationally recognized. I go down rabbit holes way too much, ladies and gentlemen.
What is this for?
For packaging. Like, you know how the asshole, you ever wonder who comes up with like the cardboard that this shit's packed in and stuff like that? The #1 university in the nation for that is MSU.
There is a degree in packaging?
Yeah, like I don't know. It's like industrial
think about
design.
everything you buy comes in a package. It's got to be appealing on that shelf.
Yeah, so when you come up with a new Grogu figure, you got to figure out how to do. So you hit up a East Lansing student to like design your Grogu packaging.
Slap a Baby Yoga on that thing.
Those are the random things that I know. Anyway.
So that was my first as a parent. I mean, they sold me. If I had the money in 18, I'd been like, I'm coming here. This place is kind of nice. I liked it better than Eastern. I liked it better than Michigan State, and I liked it better than Wayne State. I never went to those schools, but I've been to those schools.
Let's have a conversation here because I find this stuff fascinating. So, I'm a degenerate who plunges toilets and never actually got my degree.
In about 8 years.
No, for my daughter and stuff like that. But like, so you stayed local, went to Baker, and eventually got your 4-year degree. What are you in tow for on your student loans?
When I left Baker, it was about $27,000.
But you stayed local and you were able to work at the same time, so it'll leave you. BV, what are you at with student loans in your household? Because both of you guys have student loans, correct?
I don't know the extent of my wife's loans or where they're at because we pay them separately. But I paid for my undergraduate degree without loans, so I don't have any debt there. But I took loans for living expenses and some other stuff. The max you can take or you could at the time take as a grad student is $18,500 a year. So I think I took roughly $55,000 for law school.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm paying down.
Student loan debt, man. It's crazy. It's just it's one of those things where like, it's harsh because, and Heather and I talked about it, you got an 18-year-old kid making huge financial impact, you know what I mean, like those decisions right out of high school. It's just, I don't know how they fix this. It's just craziness. And you start to think about it, and
Yeah.
it's like, you and Michelle were very involved, but like, our father being a trades guy when we got out didn't know,
Yeah,
and like,
he's
if
just
you
like, "Good luck."
don't know,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It's a fine line you want to walk as a parent. You don't want to push them too much. You want them to make their decision, but at the same time, it's like you want to be there to help them.
Yeah.
So it's like,
dude, think about this.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, if common sense kicks in and she's really not, the reason I don't think she wants Central is literally nobody she's going to school with is going to go there. She can't.
What
find
does
one
this
friend to go there.
mean for the young love of smoochies? What did that come up at all? Was that a
I
conversation?
brought it up on the way home. I was like, "What are you going to do by him?"
Uh-oh.
Said, "I don't know. It'll work itself out, I guess."
Oh, man.
But don't you dare
Different-
shit on young love.
Different times.
Yes.
times.
Well, I mean, you have a lot of screens and internet.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess.
a totally different, yeah.
So next up on the trip, April 1st, it's going to be now. See, this is the only school we can actually go to in person. Most of them are virtual. So we will be talking to U of M Dearborn on April 1st. I actually got a girl that used to work for me at VR Metro. She's calling my house tomorrow. She goes to U of M Dearborn currently. She's going to fill me in on some of the things. Maybe that Holly can anticipate that, sometimes they don't cover.
And also, if
admissions.
she generates into a question, she knows the question she could have ready.
Yeah. So the story, the trip continues, and then finally Grand Valley State is probably gonna be sometime.
Where is that at?
It is in Grand Rapids or close to.
Okay.
Yeah, right outside of Grand Rapids. That's the other one she had on her list, so we'll try to get to that one too. But they're all virtual right now too. So maybe by summer we can go in person. Make a weekend trip for it or something and have a good time.
So I never went to school. Obviously, like I said, I'm in charge of toilets and stuff like that. And so in the summertime, they come home. Is that how that works? Like, so
Yeah.
basically, like when the semester ends, she would still come back to Pine Street. Is that basically how that would
She
work?
could do that or take summer classes and get ahead. Maybe graduate in 3 years instead of
Okay.
4.
Okay.
I imagine she would just want to say screw it and come home for the summer.
Take a little
Yeah.
breather.
What did you
or
do,
something?
Bill? Did you stay in Alabama during the summer? Or did you come home?
Yeah, it's a little different with law school than undergrad too, because I stayed in Alabama because part of the process in trying to prepare for the career is that you try to get work in the legal field during those 2 years. So it's harder after the first year. So after the first year, I just had a regular job, and then I also worked in the law library doing research, which paid but not a whole lot. And then my second summer in between, it's only a 3-year program. In between my second and third year, what they call clerking, where I worked as a summer associate for a medical corporation out in Birmingham called Health South Corporation. So I worked in their legal department for the summer and actually stayed with them through the first semester of my third year of law school. But yeah, I stayed in Alabama. Other than holidays, I stayed in Alabama all 3 years.
Yeah.
Now, one thing they did mention that for some reason Holly looked like she really liked, you could teach, you can go abroad. So they have a program if for teaching alone that you can go to Ireland and teach kids for a semester there. And she kind of perked up on that one, like, "Oh, I can see our history," and I was like, "Yeah, well, I guess you could."
That's cool.
Yeah, England and Ireland.
Seeing the world. I mean, that's like the Guy Fieri story or whatever, where like he lived with a family in Italy and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like that whole thing. I think that's always fantastic for someone's growth and education.
Yeah, so
We had a summer program at Alabama for law where you could go to the Australian National University and do like summer courses for like 6 or 8 weeks and stay out there and I think it was like Canberra, Australia, which I just couldn't afford, but I thought was awesome. Would have loved to have done it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see if she wants to do that or if her Michelle Henson practicality kicks in and she just wants to stay home. We'll see. I mean, we got to support her either way. And at the end, those loans will have Holly Markey's name on it, not Steve Markey. So we'll see.
See about that.
Yeah. All right, next up, one thing you talked about college debt, and Uncle Joe's back. He's going to get us our stimulus checks, but he could not get the Bernie clause of $15 minimum wage. That did not happen.
Damn.
It got shot down. Bill is not very upset by that. That would
yeah.
probably upset
Did the
you.
House vote today? So the House was supposed to vote today, Tuesday, on the changes that the Senate approved because they tweaked, again, that upper end threshold got really cut down. Once you make above 160, you're done. and then they agreed to that and passed it through the Senate. Well, they party line pushed it through the Senate, I should say.
Yeah.
And then the House had to then vote to ratify what the Senate did. Did they vote today? Does anyone know? Did that get...
I don't know.
Yeah, I just looked it up on CNN here. So, House passes procedural vote to move COVID bill to final vote tomorrow morning.
Okay, so there it is. Yeah, they said Tuesday or Wednesday, and then Joey B gets his signature on that, and then Steve gets a check, baby.
Yeah,
What?
that's all that matters.
Yeah, and then
Uncle Joe's gonna pay for my furniture that didn't get delivered.
Yeah, you're gonna talk about that in a little bit. Huh?
Yeah.
Then the other thing that came out of this, I don't think I knew this. Like they're gonna pay us as parents. Did you see this? Like $3,600 through the rest of the year, either as a credit on our taxes, or you can take the credit, and they're going to start to pay us out until the end of the year. Yeah,
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, weird.
Is it taxable if you do that?
I'm not sure. So obviously, like BV's alluding to, the faster you get the money, the better you're doing. So you want to take it as quick as you can. I mean, that's the beauty of it. But that's part of this bill is that they're going to pay parents towards their kids. Like it's like that weird earned income credit, not like the child something credit, and they bumped it up to $3,600. What is BV? What's wrong?
He's not very happy about this.
Did you see it?
No, it's just I just made a gesture. Go ahead.
Got to print that money, Joey B. Let's go. Crank that machine
Crank out
up.
that cash.
Yeah, so
keep them checks coming.
I
They didn't
don't
want the
know,
last name of
man.
Markey.
And they're gonna huge money for states, and they're gonna. Now that was a big change too. They bumped the additional unemployment monies goes until September, which is good because the Senate's adjourned in August, and I don't know, man. I don't want to say I'm on Team BV, but like they are printing money by the bucket loads. I'm no economist.
Don't question
this
it.
shit
Just
don't
take
make
it.
sense.
Right.
If you're looking for something to hold against Uncle Joe, I would do this way before I'd look at frickin' gas prices. 'Cause he doesn't have a whole lot to do with that at all.
Oh my God, dude. It's just hyperinflation, baby. Get that briefcase full of cash ready to go buy your milk. Holy shit, people. But nonetheless, I'm taking it.
How much of this bill is going to go to paying for the additional presses to print the money?
Yeah, see what I'm telling you, man. But it's digital now, BV. They just put that shit in.
Oh, my bad.
Don't be so old school in your thinking.
On top of that, our governor came out, so that we're getting federal money to the state, and she's going to give direct care workers an extra $2.25 an hour here at the state. And guess who qualifies as a direct care worker? That little woman I'm married to.
Dude,
so
it's
she might be
crazy.
getting a raise, but it's only until September. I don't.
Yeah, there's a lot of like timing to
Yeah,
stuff, but
so
take
we're
that
only-
money. Who gives a
My
shit?
money, my money.
What are the healthcare workers in Saudi Arabia getting?
I don't give a shit.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, it's crazy.
So-
So, but nonetheless, there's a lot of information out there. Stay tuned. We'll whatever we. But I don't know. Man. I got nothing. I love
checks.
free money. Nothing better than free money, but
Oh yeah.
someone's got to
no
pay.
such
Don't worry,
thing
Bill
as
and
free
Scott will
money.
pay for it.
There is no such thing as free money.
BB's paying for it. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, well, not for all of it, but
Oh,
I'm
my
certainly paying into something
Man.
that I'm not
Bill
receiving.
bought
a
my
benefit from.
recliner.
Yeah. Well, good. Then I'll feel perfectly comfortable coming over and fucking it up. When I come over.
I paid for this.
Fuck it, I paid for it. Fuck your recliner.
You're not allowed in my house.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know, man. It's crazy, but here we are, people, man. 2% inflation's for the birds. We're going to 15.
Yeah, I grinded my feet in Steve's recliner.
Yeah. As long as my house gets paid off in 5 years, I'm good to go.
Oh my God.
So now, also some news. Along with printing money, cancel culture is pretty big right now.
Caught up with not even cartoons.
Yeah. They said, "Fuck you, Dr. Seuss. Screw you, Mr.
Well,
Potato Head."
Now, John Oliver did a great expose about the Dr. Seuss thing.
He
So
also
there
did a big
was
thing
some
on unemployment
backlash.
I don't quite agree with, but okay.
Okay, well, we'll discuss that later. But,
Can you give me a little background? Because I missed the Dr. Seuss thing completely.
So, in a handful of books, there are some outdated references, let's call it. Like, one of the bigger ones is like calling like a Chinaman. And even in this past weekend, they talked about how he was actually painted yellow and stuff at one point, and it like very
And he draws
stereotypical.
Africans very close to like looking like baboons and stuff.
Yeah, it was so.
The pictures were a little
But
questionable.
the one thing I'll say is after the backlash, the publisher of Dr. Seuss said, we're done. Like, we won't print these 4 books. We can,
And these aren't
we
four
won't,
common ones. These aren't the
they're
Grinch.
obscure, yeah.
They're not Green Eggs and Ham.
And a lot of Republicans are acting like Cat in the Hat got banned. It's like, dude, take it easy.
Yeah. These are obscure
They
ones
said, hey, look,
reads.
it's not for the times, and that's okay. I don't have a lot of umbrage on that one. The Pepe Le Pew thing seems a bit harsh, man. I'm not going to lie.
So, as everyone may know, Space Jam 2 is coming out this summer. Have
Starring
no
LeBron
high hopes
James.
After watching all these HBO Max movies.
And Amazon Prime.
Oh, man. So, but a mainstay in the first Space Jam was Pepe Le Pew. Well, Pepe Le Pew has been determined that he's too much of a chauvinist and a male
He's
sexist.
kind of a rapist skunk. Let's be
Yeah, but he's still a cartoon, let's
Yeah,
be honest.
I know,
So he is totally not going to be in the new Space
Well,
Jam.
did you see the whole? So the whole article was in the originally, LeBron James was going to, in his terrible monotone voice, was going to lecture Pepe Le Pew like, "Hey man, you can't be. Women aren't like this, man. You got to." So he was going to do a lecture thing.
Oh,
Then
okay.
apparently a new director came up, which has always bodes so well for the new Space Jam sequel.
Yeah.
This is going to be a dumpster fire of a movie, as Zack Snyder's we'll discuss here in a little bit. So he actually, because of that, and he cut the whole thing. Just didn't even want the lecture. Didn't just cut Pepe Le Pew like he didn't exist anymore. So
On top of that, they've redesigned the female bunny. So in the 90s, the female bunny was wearing a crop top, had makeup on. They've given her a longer jersey now where she wears shorts with compression shorts underneath them.
Okay.
It very toned her down because they felt the 90s one was too sexist.
Okay, I mean,
If
I
you
don't,
objectifying Babs.
Yeah, well, Lola, or so I don't know what her name is. In the movie.
I don't.
But the bigger one was Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah, I mean-
that's a class. But if you notice, I don't know if you watched the new series on HBO, the one with Daffy and them doing the sweatshop. There's no Froghorn Leghorn or Pepe Le Pew.
yeah.
Both of them do not
I
make the new
think
show.
not Foghorn Leghorn. I'm thinking of Yosemite Sam. Yosemite Sam
He
made
makes it, yes.
Yeah, but Foghorn's not on there.
Pepe and Frog. Let me tell you something, boy. I beat
yeah.
that dog's ass with his
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
He didn't make it. So they feel he's too much of an old white racist man.
Yeah,
So both of those were cut from Looney Tunes.
What you got, BB?
Well, no, I'm just thinking. So I mean, the whole Dr. Seuss thing, and this kind of was like that. So are we going to start like Mark Twain next? Are we just going to pull Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer because?
But here's the thing. So don't go full Ben Shapiro and everything. Like, calm down, Fox News. The publisher
Wow.
the publisher
this isn't a partisan issue to me. But go ahead.
Really, actually, everything becomes a partisan issue now. But the publisher said, "Hey, look, man, it's not. We want everyone to enjoy Dr. Seuss, and if it even runs the possibility to make someone uncomfortable, let's just not produce these 4 books." And I don't think that's crazy.
In the
If
case,
if the publisher just makes a decision,
yeah, that's
to take
what
it out of
happened.
circulation. That's
what
that's
happened.
completely
It
different than
wasn't
banning
cancel
intervention.
culture.
Okay,
It's not.
never mind.
Yeah.
Now,
So-
Mr. Potato Head and Pepe Le Pew, on the other hand, that's just crumbling
Well,
under pressure.
one of the other things to add to BV's fuel on BV's fire. Did you see the shit in California where you got to have a gender neutral part of your toy department?
That's a thing?
California's got a bill.
Well, first off, who has even had a toy department anymore?
Well, I know, like name both stores that do.
Yeah, this is going to affect Target and Walmart.
Apparently, but I see the thing is, there's no sign that says little girl shop in the little girl section. They
Yeah,
just
you can
have
walk down
each
any
individual
aisle.
toy. Apparently, in California, you're going to be required to have like gender neutral toy departments.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
I also learned recently of another distinction that's called non-binary, which is actually not involving like really not a boy, not a girl, and actually those they refer to themselves and asked to be referred to as them or they. So I mean, we're going from like disassociation of your actual gender to another to gender neutral
Okay.
to
All right. Let me
non-
reel
I
you
mean,
in,
yeah.
Daily Wire. It's okay. Calm down.
No, I'm just saying.
Just
I
talking
mean, it's because I'm just having a hard time tracking all of it. I just, it's a lot to
Me
keep
and
track
Steve
of.
write it down. Like we have a notebook and stuff. It helps us.
Okay.
It helps us.
Someone in our
Chat or
chat
something?
is chanting AEW. I'm not quite sure what.
This was a while ago, but
Oh, okay.
When we were
Yeah.
talking about wrestling.
I guess.
Actually,
It was a
we
little
are
bit
going to
after.
talk a little bit about AEW later. But
Okay.
we are.
also with Central Michigan, I forgot to mention this. When the students came out so they broke us out with each student, they go, "Hello, my name is Melissa. My pronouns are she, her, and hers." Like each one had to announce their pronouns before they.
Any weird ones?
No, they were all normal. So then I thought
you were waiting for a weird one. I
but
know
if
you were. You were
none
like,
of them were. So then what was the point?
it's just inclusionary.
Yeah, I guess. I
Heather
don't
will
know.
school you on all that.
I don't want to get lectured by Heather right now.
Yeah,
so.
Heather will tell you.
All right, so let's get to something that's less depressing and something we know about. Foosball.
Well, I know something about free money.
That is true. We know a little bit about free money. So foosball got some free agency starting here shortly. And the first one up, Charles, you'll take this one because this is your boy.
So the big concern, as I'm wearing my Steeler Proud hat today, the big concern was the salary cap and then Big Ben's huge hit on the salary cap. Ben Roethlisberger, old number 7. He's 142 years old, but he had a great season last year, and he just fell short. They just lost in the playoffs. Okay, but if you're asking me, do I want him back? Oh, yeah, I want him back. So he's coming back, but he also went from a $19 million. Somehow he adjusted down to a $14 million pay for next year, and it frees up $15.5 million of salary cap space for the franchise. So it not
took
only
one for the team, essentially.
Yeah, so he's doing a traditional vet move of like saying, "Hey, look, I'm willing to give a little back. We're going to spread this out over the next 2 years or something." Again, salary cap stuff can get very confusing. I can understand free money with the Senate better than I can the salary cap shit.
Yeah.
But they're going to spread it out over the next 2 years. It frees up some room to make them a contender. Everyone's happy. Ben came out and said, "I'm happy to be a Steeler still," and all that kind of stuff, because you would hate to see Ben Roethlisberger pull up in like a Colts outfit, or you know what I mean? Like, dude, come on.
I wouldn't. Just to fuck with you.
Oh, my God. I hate it. But, yeah, super happy about this. The next one you're going to talk about is insanity. All right?
Yeah.
Can we just get this out of the way?
Before we move on, though, Roethlisberger, the reason why he could take a lot less money, he quit drinking. So it's $5 million he doesn't need a year.
His porn addiction.
His porn and liquor went out the window, so he's good now.
I can say, if you're interested, I can shed a little bit of light on the contract and how it works.
Yeah, what do you got? Go.
Okay, so he took the $14 million. He took the majority of that. His actual salary for next year is only going to be $1 million. So he's taking he's taking like almost $13 million of it in a bonus,
signing bonus or something.
Yeah, and that can be prorated over 5 years, and they can void the last 4. So this essentially is a 1-year, $14 million contract. And although technically it's over like a 4 or 5 year span, the way the contract's structured, it's realistically going to be, it's a 1-year contract, and that's probably going to be it for him, would be my guess, unless for some reason
they
decide
crazy,
to re-sign. Yeah. But that's how they break up how they get all the extra salary cap, because they can take that signing bonus, spread it out over so many years, void a chunk of it, and it gives them more money now, and possibly less later, but they can probably work it. So it's actually very, very company friendly, or team friendly as far as salary cap is concerned.
And as a Steeler fan, it's huge news. It's huge news, and I'm super happy.
You don't think it's time to move on?
No, I don't.
Well, move on to what?
But and again, last year we did really well, and I'm saying we because I'm part of the team. And
you bought a handful of tickets. That doesn't make you the fucking.
I have the sideline hat on my head.
Oh man, we were both at the championship.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
if you're a Steeler fan, though, how do you realistically feel about Landry Jones as your starting quarterback?
Yeah, I mean that's.
He's a good backup. I mean,
that leads us into our next signing. There were some available quarterbacks, and one of them no longer is. Captain Broke Ankles himself signs a 4-year.
Tell me both you didn't cringe when you read this.
$60 million deal. Dak Prescott to the Dallas Cowboys.
In that contract, he will be making, in that 4-year span, more than Patrick Mahomes. Over those 4 years, half a bill Patrick Mahomes won't even see that much money. This is insane, people.
I don't know. Maybe they have. From what I understand, they were a rock and a hard place.
There's no one else out there.
If they franchise him, they'd have to pay $52 million to him a year.
Dude, you think he's worth this, Steve?
No, he's not won one playoff game.
I'm telling you.
You have to pay that for quarterbacks now.
Yeah,
but you could have, dude. Dak Prescott.
It's the Cowboys. No one cares.
That team has got issues.
Yeah. But and the thing is too is that the contract's actually 6 years, $240 million.
Oh,
He's got the 100. It's 126 million guaranteed.
He's free after the 4 years.
It's voidable after the 4. Yeah,
and he's got a no trade clause too.
Yeah, the final 2 years are void, but he's getting a $66 million signing bonus. So he's only guaranteed.
His legs are in pieces.
Yeah. His guaranteed money, which in any NFL contract is what really matters, his guaranteed money is 126 million.
Dude,
so
for Dak fucking Prescott,
and they have no defense and no money to rebuild it.
oh.
They're still
that's not cap friendly. So I don't know how this is like a loss for the Steelers because
well, I mean, if you look at it, he's the best quarterback in the NFC East.
Yeah, but okay, so and
no one
you
else
guys
in the
both are. We're all McAfee slappies at this point. Again, if you watch or listen to us, definitely listen to Pat McAfee. It's great. But he's been talking for like a week and a half now about like the situation with Russell Wilson in Seattle.
Well, also
Like, at
Deshaun
least
Watson's right there in the same state.
Do something. Are you serious for Dak Prescott?
Well.
Unbelievable, guys. I can't believe
Charles does not endorse the
this
resigning of
is
Dak Prescott.
insane. But like you said, I hate the Cowboys anyway, so good luck with that dead deal. I don't care. But
I mean, in his defense, he's only had one injury. It was a gruesome, terrible injury.
what are you talking
But he's only had
his
one.
legs went the opposite way of his body.
Yeah, so
how is he just going to be good to go by beginning of next
Dude,
season?
it's
I don't
insane.
know.
Like no, like nothing ever happened.
Well, a lot of technology, you know.
$1 million man.
Well,
They're using pieces from Tiger Woods' car to put his legs back
The
together.
Hyundai Genesis.
They got the black box out,
Dude.
strapped it to
Just
his ankle.
think too, right? It was only about 2 years ago that everybody, I think, including us, not on the podcast, but we're going nuts, just bashing the Vikings for giving freaking Kirk Cousins like $27 or $28 million a year. Now, if you're a legit quarterback, apparently $40 million a year is pretty much the
going rate.
yeah, that's what you got to pay now. I mean, you can get really average quarterbacks now.
I'm like, listen, Holly,
That's
$27,
forget
$30
Central.
million
You
a
chuck
year.
a football.
So let's have the conversation then too. Okay, we are not Matt Stafford fans here. We're just not, and let's be honest.
Oh, okay.
But in that scenario, like, what is the difference? Like, go at least I take Matt Stafford over Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Is that a reach, guys? Like, what am I?
He's a lot older than Dak Prescott. So
Oh, you honestly think
I'm just saying,
shattered legs is in it for the long haul?
Well, Stafford's had a lot of injuries too, though.
Dude, you're building a franchise tomorrow, Steve.
Yeah.
Who do you take?
Who do I take? I take Aaron Rodgers.
It's not an option.
Oh, all right. Patrick Mahomes.
Dude, I'm telling you, this is insane.
Do I have a time machine? I'll take Tom Brady in his prime.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go.
We're talking about starting a franchise with one of those two quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's. I agree. I think ultimately I probably would want Stafford, but I think it's close.
Yeah, just because the youth is on Prescott's side, or it's not on.
His legs went
Well,
the
no, I mean-
opposite direction.
Well, we
as
don't know the
opposed.
doctor's reports.
We're talking about.
Maybe
we're
he drinks a
talking
lot
about
of
just doing
milk. I don't know.
a 20,
Get a lot of calcium.
27-year-old with
Big.
like 3 or 4 years in the league, and we've got a 33-year-old who's already 12 years in and has gotten the hell beat out of him.
Yeah.
Prescott, I mean, he
you're
has been
crazy.
a good quarterback. He's
Can't
played
win a
well.
playoff,
You're
but-
both insane. This is an insane.
Well,
I
It's
think
the
that
Cowboys, nobody
if I
cares.
were sort of like slotting quarterbacks as far as who were the best or what, I think I'd put them in the same general category.
And for the record, the NFC East, the winner's going to be 8-8 every year for the next 3 years.
This is
So-
insane.
Or
people.
6-10.
Yeah, I
you
was
know,
saying.
you know.
So Cowboys will win just being shitty. All
I
right,
need snacks now.
all right, Charles. So we got a early breakfast thing. I've seen the commercials for these. This is Fruity Pebble crisps. So you're on your way to work. You need a quick snack, and you love Fruity Pebbles. You grab a bag of these.
The BV's picked them up too, so we all got them this week. Steve, of course, has to check the.
10 grams of sugar isn't terrible. It's
What
not
do they
ideal.
want you at? Yeah,
They
what-
want you to stay under double digits on the sugar, but it's not horrible.
Okay, first of all, these look like Fruity Pebble nacho chips.
Yeah, what's up with that? That's goofy.
They're like
BV,
coasters.
I got it over to BV. Yeah, it looks like a nacho chip that's been pressed out of Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, it looks like a little mini snack frisbee.
I love Fruity Pebbles. As I spit all over the mic, these are awesome.
I've never had Fruity Pebbles cereal.
No?
Are you serious?
Oh, my God. So good. Turns your milk gray-green. It's great.
I prefer Cocoa Pebbles.
This tastes just like Fruit Loops.
That's what it is.
I imagine
It's basically
they probably
pressed
taste the same.
Fruit Loops. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, the shape throws you off.
They're like a nacho chip. They literally look like a Fruity Pebble nacho chip. It's crazy.
They got like a sugar coating on the outside of them.
So they're not really sweet once you crunch into them. Once you get past that coating, they're like oddly like they're kind of dipped in sugar.
Fruity rice cakes.
I'm really surprised
What they
Michelle
taste
didn't
like.
like these. So I'm a little shocked on that one.
But it sounds like you kind of like them.
I don't mind them.
See, I'm gonna eat these crisps.
Well, now we'll have to get the ones Bill got. But what did you find, Bill? The other ones?
Yeah, there's also Post chocolate honeycomb bites.
A honeycomb covered in chocolate sounds pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys want to do a taste test with those? I'm happy to leave them unopened until that takes
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. We'll see if we can pick those up.
Where'd you find them at? Walmart?
Meyer.
Meyer, okay.
No,
But
the two big bag. The bags were 2 big bags were 2 for $4.
Where'd you find this at?
These are at Kroger, but BV got a bigger bag. We got like the individual bags of like. I gotta tell you, these are awesome.
I'm
These are
surprised my
freaking
wife
awesome.
didn't like these. She eats Fruity Pebbles all the time.
Oh yeah, like as a cereal.
No, as like a steak. What
Well,
else you got?
because Fruity Pebbles is pimping its product out to everything now.
Yeah, I don't like
You
the
can get
coffee
Fruity
creamer.
Pebbles
Coffee creamer's
anything.
gross.
I gotta tell you, BV, what do you think of the Fruity Pebble crisps?
It's pretty good.
What's your favorite cereal? What's a BV cereal? Because you're a whatchamacallit candy bar, which is insane.
My favorite cereal is Raisin Bran.
Are you fucking?
I'm serious.
I'm hanging up on you.
As far, I mean,
God.
if we're talking about like
What
the more
an
sugary
asshole!
cereals,
He
we're talking
just
about
said
the
his
more
face.
the more sugary cereals. My favorite. And I
This
haven't had
fucking
it
guy
since I was
picked Raisin Bran.
Well, yeah, and I haven't had it in years. But
my
as far as like the more sweet ones, you know, like whatever.
Why
that
am
they
I
use as a
friends with
kid,
him? Like, are you
Would be
serious?
like probably Captain Crunch,
Oh
like
my
peanut butter
God.
Captain Crunch.
Does it really surprise you?
He fucking picked Raisin
He was
Bran.
12
I
years
love
old
Raisin
eating
Bran.
Raisin Bran watching CNN.
I love Raisin Bran. I don't know what
Alex
the
B.
hell.
Keaton over
So
here.
these are good, and but like I said, I've never had the cereal, so I don't know.
Motherfucker.
But they're good. They're good, but they're not so good that like I have an urge to eat the whole bag. So that's good for
my
me.
bag is gone, ladies and gentlemen.
I'd say I'd give it a good. I'd say like
got?
a 6.
6 out of 10. But this is a man whose favorite cereal is Raisin Bran, ladies and gentlemen.
That was
So
the best.
that is the most unbelievable answer I've ever had. Steve kind of digs him. Let me cut to Steve. What do you
I
got?
like them. I give it a 7. I just don't think they're very practical. Like I wouldn't sit. I wouldn't be at lunch at work about. Let me crack open that bag of Fruity Pebble
That's
crisps.
a good point.
But
I don't
they're
know.
not bad.
I love Fruity Pebbles. So if you're asking me, I'm gonna give these a 9 out of 10 because Fruity Pebbles is like in my top 5 as far as favorite
I
cereals.
do wish I had a cup of milk with it.
But I think Steve is the one thing I will say, and Steve is correct. I don't know the scenario where crisps or like weird nacho chips made out of Fruity Pebbles
No.
are really where I'm like you said, like I don't know if I'm at the hotel and I just break out a bag of crisps to eat. It's a little weird.
Hold on, let me
So-
get my crisps.
yeah, that's a little weird. So I'm going to say Fruity Pebbles themselves are a 9 out of 10. They're great. And then these, like Steve said, 100%. I give them a 7 out of 10 just for practicality's sake. Just get a box of Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah. As far as like as a fat kid on a Saturday morning, Crunch Berries were one of my favorite.
Dude, when was the last time, like, so BV, and we broke his balls about the Raisin Bran. When was the last time you legit ate some Captain Crunch? It will shrapnel the shit out of your mouth.
3 weeks ago, I had a bowl.
Did it destroy your mouth? Like, no bullshit? Like, they oddly disintegrate.
If I eat it more than one day in a row, it does.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I'm good for one day. Like if I ate it for a week, by the end of the night, I'd just be bleeding out my
Yeah,
gums.
you're like spitting blood.
yeah.
You guys
But-
are real big
but-
cereal eaters, though, aren't you? I don't eat a lot of cereal.
Not usually.
I can't
not.
anymore because the calories on them.
and I can't because it's coated in sugar.
Yeah. I haven't had.
But I
Captain
do.
Crunch.
We're busting your balls, but I like Raisin Bran. But it was just funny that was
Well, yeah, I
not
haven't
all
had
time
Captain
great,
Crunch
but
since I was probably in my early 20s. Either,
and I like
so.
Cocoa Pebbles. I like
Cocoa
that.
Pebbles are great too.
Fruity or
I've
Cocoa?
never had
I'm going
any
with Cocoa.
Pebble cereal. I've never had any of the Pebble
Count
cereal.
Chocula, that was always good too.
Not
You
Travis,
get the-
anything with a dehydrated marshmallow is one of the most
no
overrated.
Lucky Charms.
Terrible.
You know what? Holly's been on a kick with Frosted Flakes.
I don't know a lot of Frosted Flakes either.
She's been eating a lot of those lately.
I had a lot of Apple Jacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, the only one a lot of people like that I'm not a fan of is cinnamon
Toast Crunch.
I don't like it.
Oh my god!
I've never had that either.
Might be my
You know one that
favorite
people
of all
love that
time.
I just can't stand.
Michelle
is
likes
Cheerios.
it too, and I just don't like
What
it.
you got, BV?
People have always been big fans of Cheerios, and I can't stand them.
Dude, Charles just housed that.
So
I like Honey Nut Cheerios, and I do
don't
like
like any
honeycomb too.
Any
Now that you
kind.
mention it.
I'm with BV. I don't like Cheerios. Cheerios suck. Cheerios are right there with Raisin Bran.
Oh, well, when I was a kid, I put half a bowl of sugar on the fucking
Yeah,
Cheerios,
yeah,
and then they're pretty good.
Shit now and checking that number. Oh,
All right, Charles. So there we go. Some Fruity Pebble Crisps. I don't know how practical they are. Like, I don't know if I'd sit down and watch
they
a
are
movie.
legit Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah.
But like you said, I don't know if. Oh man, I want something a little snacky before dinner. I want to eat these weird nacho chips pressed on Fruity Pebbles.
I mean, I imagine Lorna might like something like that right before she goes to school or something. Or I don't know. But
I don't know.
all right, so the big one this weekend. Now, we covered last week that Bill and Charles are huge Coming to America fans. The sequel came out on Amazon. Two of us out of the three have watched it. Bill, I want to throw it to you first since you were definitely the bigger fan. Coming to America on Amazon. It's actually coming the number 2 America. So is how it was. I misspelled it on the notes.
It's not coming to America too. It's
coming to and then America. Bill, give us your thoughts on Coming to America. Should people celebrate it and thank God Eddie Murphy's back and it holds up to the sequel, or is it just a waste of time and money?
Other than a handful of funny references, kind of a good one-line kind of things and funny moments, and a couple of kind of nostalgic references that kind of hit home and that were cool, the movie was ridiculously stupid. Wow. The storyline was completely just ridiculous. And I don't want to give a whole lot away, but just
feel free. It's on streaming.
Well, the one piece
Spoilers.
Thing so the premise of his illegitimate son in the first place is that he was basically wingmanning for Semi back in the day, and he went home with this girl that Semi was trying to get up with and her big friend, and this big friend drugged him and raped him. So basically drugged him, did him, and then had a kid.
But that takes away the heart of the original Coming to America.
Ridiculous. It's
That's kind
ridiculous.
of an annoying thing because the whole thing was Hakeem saw the chick at McDonald's and immediately kind of knew. And then the man whore of the group was the Arsenio Hall thing. That it takes out the heart of that original movie a little bit to make it seem like he just randomly banged someone. That's kind of oh wow.
So so that was that. So then the placement of both older actors that brought back in and other parts. So I could run through a whole sequence of things that just were horrible to me.
Shoehorned in, or what do you mean? Like, what do you?
Well, yeah. So okay. So for example, Leslie Jones. I know
funny.
you guys have different opinions. You have different opinions. To me, I could kind of take it. She's funny in some things and not others. Completely. It was poorly done. She was horrible. Wasn't funny at all. Tracy Morgan, I have come to learn, is Tracy Morgan in everything he does, and other than a couple one-liners that were kind of funny, he was cheesy, and the whole thing was ridiculous. So there was no point in having him there either. The character with Wesley Snipes, the general of the neighboring country that was considered, the whole thing was it was his sister that Akeem left barking at the first place and left. Okay, and then he was trying to hook his Akeem's son up with his daughter to merge the two countries, or otherwise he was threatening to take over. He had a couple funny one-liners. They did a couple of stupid dances, but for the most part, all I could see when I looked at him is he's a cheap African version of the dictator. It was completely pointless.
The Sacha Baron Cohen guy?
The character in The Dictator. It was just pointless. The whole dynamic with the kid, when I saw the kid, I thought he was completely nothing like.
So wait, how did they address like him and his queen that he took back? Like what?
She's still there.
She's there. And by the way, the one bright side.
So he never has a kid with her?
3 daughters.
Three daughters. So the whole thing about male heir and James Earl Jones is about to die.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, the biggest bright side of this whole movie to me is Sherry Headley is freaking hot now.
Who's Sherry
Like
Headley?
she's the
girlfriend from
queen.
the first one.
Oh, okay.
She got better looking with time.
Lisa
Oh,
McDowell.
yeah? Wow.
She's hot now.
Much better looking in this than she
I
was
gotta
in the
But
Google
like,
her and
all
check
right,
it out.
so like little stupid things, right? So like they come and they introduce after he gets his son into Zamunda or whatever, and there's all this internal back and forth about how you can just kid comes out of nowhere and you're going to give him the throne, blah 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 blah. Freaking Snipe shows up with his daughter and announces her, and they go into this like so it was a party originally that they were having for Jaffe, the king, that as he died in it, where they had like these musical numbers that were like In Vogue comes out and sings, and then like Salt and Pepper raps on it. It was like What a Mighty Good King.
Did they Did they have old boy the servant? Did the queen to be shit?
Well, that was what I was getting to. So he did sing. When she showed up, though, instead they went into the most ridiculous version of "Get Off" by Prince I've ever seen. In fact, the kid that's supposed to be his son or whatever comes up to the chick like when it comes to the little rap part and does the little talking rap part in the middle of it too. The whole thing was it was bad.
Wow.
And yeah, like I struggle to even give it like a fair rating because it was just, I mean, it was like, and then Steve made a comment that I think will make a lot of sense. To me, it was either way on the other end of way on the side of ridiculous, and then when it wasn't ridiculous, it was about as by the numbers as you would possibly get for. So there were some like the guys in the barbershop were still funny, but there wasn't a lot of that.
And most of their scenes were in the trailer.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did have a whole thing in the end where when the kid actually marries the barber from Zamunda that he falls in love with or whatever. Sorry, I'm ruining the whole thing, but
it's fine. Go ahead.
When he does that, they bring back they have a big party where they kind of bring queens to Zamunda, and the musical frickin' thing is Sexual Chocolate. That was funny.
That was good.
That was kind of cool. But yeah, so other than a couple little references where they kind of bring, but like they brought they even screwed that up a little bit because they brought in frickin' Peaches. My name is Peaches and I'm the best. All the DJs want.
So she did.
They brought them into rap. In the whole thing, it was just it was kind of ridiculous.
No Eric LaSalle anywhere to be found, huh?
No, nothing like that at all.
Wow. So anything to add, Steve? Because BB is pretty.
He covered it all. But what I would say, it does the same mistake that Hangover 2 did. It's not original at all. So this is the same exact story, except instead of Akeem falling in love, it's his son. So he's scheduled to marry Wesley Snipes' daughter. Instead, he falls in love with the barber, runs away with her, and does. So it's the same story. Just the son.
Next generation.
And here it is. You tune in because you want to watch Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall be funny. And large section of the movie are about the guy they casted as kid. And whoever this kid is, he's not charismatic. He's not funny.
Well, that's what bums me out. Like I said, so if you're gonna take the whole heart of the original Coming to America was the fact that he fell head over heels in love with Lisa McDowell. That was the whole heart of it. And to sully that in some way kind of even takes away kind of
that number one. And then number two, it's the same story with his son falling head over heels with a female barber. So it's the same damn story.
The moral focus here though is it's like how the first one, the conflict with the family was like, well, this is tradition. Now the tradition is only a male heir can take the throne, and so so there's that tension between the oldest daughter who's been preparing to try to take the throne her whole life, and they bring in, and so the love thing kind of just the love part of it is kind of a secondary thing because so it wasn't even like the entire that twisted version of it wasn't even the entire story.
Is McDowell still around?
Now that's what annoyed me too. Louis Anderson, the one we were like, is he washing letters? He's the manager. He shows up. He's working at the McDowell's in Zamunda.
There's the McDowell's in Zamunda.
Yeah, that's the big thing in the beginning of the movie. They opened the McDowell's in Zamunda. And Louis Anderson's only part is to hold a Pepsi for product placement. They're eating like a veggie burger, and they're like, it's so dry. And Louis Anderson's literally like, I'll wash it down with this Pepsi. And the Pepsi line, I swear to God, this happened.
They didn't give him any other lines?
None.
Yeah,
So you don't know if he's a manager. You don't know if he's washing
They
lettuce.
didn't give him anything at
No.
all.
No.
Hold the
he didn't even
Pepsi.
finish
That's what
that.
he was doing.
And
He
then
didn't
how
even
did they
finish that line because then John Amos, the guy that plays McDowell's, Cleo McDowell, he says, Pepsi, the official drink of McDowell's.
Of Zamunda, yeah.
So
Yeah.
does Patrice show up? I'm confused. Does the sister?
No.
The sister doesn't show up.
Nope, not part of that at all.
What? Like, what is happening? Oh my
No,
god!
I'm not as
No,
quite as
what-
critical as
Who they bring
Bill.
into it is that when the kid comes to Zamunda, he brings his mom, which is Leslie Jones,
And this
and,
isn't
and
funny.
then he has his uncle, this abrasive uncle that sort of half raised him, which is Tracy Morgan.
And he's not that funny.
Yeah,
He has a little
basically
bit with
has,
him
like,
in Arsenio Hall where they're bickering back
Yeah,
and
they
forth.
have like a rival, like a frenemy kind of thing, where they're rival and end up being kind of friends with him and Semi.
So let
the
me
highlight
push. Oh god!
is the barbershop guys, sexual chocolate. And I did like the Wesley Snipes character. He was kind of this zany general dictator guy. I didn't mind him. Bill hated him, but I didn't mind him. And that's about it, really. If you wanted to watch Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall be asses and have a good time, that's not what happens. You get them for a little bit, and then they focus on this unfunny son character they found and his daughters. And
Yeah, and I thought the son, the best way I could, like, they tried to make him like completely opposite from Akeem, except like when you got down to the real things in the heart. What it reminded me of when I saw him for about the first half of the movie is this is the kid from the newest version of Shaft.
yeah. Where in that movie, Shaft, they found the most uncharismatic, unfun guy ever to be his son. They did the same thing with this. I was telling Bill, I would have much rather had like Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall. There's tons of pressure at him being a king in Zamunda. So the two of them left and did like a big road trip to America to get distress. That at least been original and different. You would have got to see some stuff. No, we got the same story 30 years later. So I give it a 5 out of 10.
Now, let me ask you. I was going to press you. So give me a score, but then tell me, should it have been made? That's going to be my
5 out of 10. It should have been made if they came up with a more original idea.
It needs a sequel,
Shit,
but it
I would have
didn't
watched
need
a
a
movie
rehash.
about the barbershop guys trying not to go out of business. That would have been a great movie. Anything would have been a great movie but what we got. So rework that script 3 or 4 more times. It could have been good, and it just wasn't. So 5 out of 10 for me. Bill,
What do you got,
give it?
BB?
I was thinking, and we were chatting about this on Skype earlier today, and I was struggling to try to give it a reasonable thing. And the more I think about it, I'm giving it a 3, with the full caveat that a lot of that comes from the fact that I'm such a fan of the first movie. As for whether or not it should be made, here's my thought of this: it could have been done in a manner that would have honored the first movie and kind of built off it and fun. But I think that it's a really tight, like there's only so many things that they could have done that would have done all that. So, and I'm not just being, this is my get off the lawn moment. I think that movie was so good, the original, that it should have just been left where it is. And because it wasn't the type of movie that screamed for a sequel. He got us happily ever after. What are you going to do now from his life going forward in Zamunda that's going to be, how do you twist that in a manner that's going to make you a movie that's even close to as funny as the first one? So I would say, especially seeing what I saw now, this is what they can come up with to make for a second movie, because it wasn't like they popped one out real quick. They had 35 years to come up with a freaking sequel. This is what they came up with. It shouldn't have been made.
Wow.
Yeah. So it doesn't leave me high hopes for his stand-up career coming up.
Yeah. Wow.
Don't. Let's put it this way: if I give you any bit of advice, is unless you just want to buy a lot of shit, don't bother with Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Wow.
It'll be 2 hours of your day of your time you won't get back.
Yeah.
So there you go. A very stellar review from both of us.
So that averages a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, it wasn't that good, and it's a bit disappointing. My Name is Dolomite. We talked about it on the pack.
Love that movie.
That was a
me and
great
you both
movie.
thought it was really good.
You want good Eddie Murphy? Watch that movie, not this one. So, and I can't believe Amazon even paid $120 million for that movie.
Did it? Well, I know we need to move on, but did it even seem to you like Eddie Murphy was a primary character in that movie?
No,
like
it was his son.
And the thing is, and
Leslie
he was
Jones
so
had more lines.
He was so into the other than like what I think was supposed to be like a funny dad moment where that thing where where Lisa gets pissed off and kicks him out of his royal bedroom or whatever to go sleep on the couch. He didn't even really have a whole. I can't really think of any moments where he was particularly funny.
Well, as the barbershop guy.
Yeah, but that wasn't.
That's the only
that
time
wasn't.
he was
Yeah,
funny.
but I mean,
You're saying as
Akeem,
Akeem, yeah.
Akeem was not funny really at all.
Yeah,
that
I
can think
can't
of.
believe they squandered the Louis Anderson reprise. That's crazy to me.
he just
You had a moment to make really funny
he hands
stuff.
out the veggie burger.
Still have him making burgers or something like that. Like,
Yeah,
how do you
they
miss
had
that completely?
Yeah.
I think they made a point to try to just show you reference because, like, one of the big things was that the kid overhears him talking with Wesley Snipes, and Snipes is like, well, good move making him a pawn in your game and so he gets pissed off and emo. He takes his mom and uncle and the chick from Zamunda he marries back to Queens, and he's going to marry her in some little, like, little mom and pop and the original the character for the preacher, it's like I love it a lot. He was doing the ceremony.
Yeah.
And then Akeem runs in on it to stop it, and it seemed like they made references back, and they did a lot of like flashback where they did this, and they would like replay a clip real quick. Like they replayed the clip when they were talking about how he ended up with a legitimate kid.
Remember this other movie that was much better than this movie?
Yeah, they would go back.
Remember Berries?
When we were
Remember
looking for the
Berries?
Queen? And they showed like a couple of the sequences where they were at the nightclub talking to people.
Yeah, I remember that whole sequence, but
Yes, that
and
nightclub
they actually
sequence
showed
leads into the date rape.
little excerpts from that clip.
yeah, but that's again like you're
Yeah,
missing
it
the
was like-
point if you do that.
Yeah, they were basically
So
just,
many other
a
storylines
lot.
that
A lot
could've
of
been
it was just showing you, trying to like the old classic little nostalgia reference, right? They bring someone back, let you see it, or they flip back to it just to show it to you, but they don't do anything with it of any value whatsoever. Like Louis Anderson was literally there long enough to
hold the
rush down with a Pepsi.
Oh, that's a bummer because me and you thought it would be really funny if they had him if his career didn't progress. or something.
Yeah.
Like no one asks how come he's here from how come he's in Zamunda? Like what the?
He's in a big fucking robe, African robe, and he's there
Because
with the
he's
owner.
hilarious in that first one. Like that whole weird thing where he's so prideful to work in this generic McDonald's. It's really funny. Oh, they missed the point on
They
that.
also beat to death the McDonald's reference. So McDowell has McFlurbies instead of McFlurries. They're still doing that
still
joke.
working that,
Yeah, again, it's like
Yeah,
we have Pepsi instead of Coke, and
Put it this way, I am by far, and it's not close, the least movie oriented and whatever the three of us. I have no doubt in my mind that I could have written a better script for that.
Wow.
Than was written.
a more original one at the least, because that was just a recycle. Bummer. Yep. So there you go, Charles. You don't have to get Amazon Prime.
I was hoping you both came in here and were like, dude, this movie is so good. Instead you're like, oh, hell no.
If it had been good, man, I would have given you a password or something. So you could watch it.
Like I said,
I
there's
wouldn't
about
waste
3
time
good
on
scenes. 2 of them with the barbershop guys, and the third one was sexual chocolate. After that, you were like, nah.
Oh yeah. By the way, you asked about the Queen to Be. If you stay and watch the credits, they run
It's
some
John
kind
Legend.
of bloopers, and John Legend sings "She's Your Queen to Be" at the end. during the
Oh,
credits.
that's the whole. They really don't get it. Like it's really either I'm completely off base on the original one, or they don't.
No,
get
it's them. They're
Yeah. Wow.
All right, let's get away from that. Now, remember last week I had some good movies and stuff I watched. This week I struck out totally. The season finale of WandaVision wrapped up on Disney Plus.
This is kind of all over on Yahoo and stuff. Was it a
Oh,
big
yeah.
reveal at the end?
No, it wasn't
okay.
a big reveal. It was a
Okay.
big turd sandwich at the end. So I barely liked the Scarlet Witch and Vision to begin with. Even back, forget the movies. Remember, Steve's an old school comic book nerd. And so I never bought any comics with Vision or Scarlet Witch because I didn't give 2 shits. Okay. So what this show was supposed to do is make me give 2 shits about these characters. And by the end of the 9 episodes, half hour each, I still did not give 2 shits about these characters. I know a lot of people are in love with this and all this magic. So like I told you, the first 3 episodes, I'm not forgiving them. Everyone else forgave them. The first
They
3
thought they
episodes,
were building towards something.
yeah, the first 3 episodes were literally just rip-offs of older sitcoms with nothing to do with the Marvel Universe. They were just like I Love Lucy and Elvis Sullivan
But
Show.
you said they kind of touched on like that. There's more to
Barely.
this. Yeah.
And that was the first 3 episodes. That's a third of the season was just bullshit. Cut all of that. And then it gets into a little bit more. You can see what's happening. What happens? I know you didn't watch the Avengers movie. Spoilers. Turn off 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. So at the end of Avengers Endgame, Vision gets killed. They rip the gem out of his head. He's a dead corpse. But he's an android, so I don't know how he could die. He's just a fucking robot. He's dead. Meanwhile, before he died, him and Scarlet Witch, or I guess Wanda, whatever, Romanoff, or whatever her name was, they had a thing. So basically, she was in love with a sex doll. Really, is what it was. The sex doll dies. So in this show, what she does, she's grieving so bad, she doesn't have full concept of her power. She's unlocking her inner superpowers, but she knows a little bit, but not a lot. And she takes a whole city in New Jersey and puts them in a giant bubble, and everyone in this city becomes mind wiped and part of her sitcoms.
Yeah.
So that's how it happens. So there's no villain in this show. It's just her.
So it's her doing like a dollhouse effect because she can't cope.
There is one other witch that shows up, Catherine Hahn. She's off a Bad Mom. She's a good actress. She plays some random witch character that they pulled from a 1960s comic from Fantastic Four named Agatha Harkness. She was just trying to figure out what Scarlet Witch did and take her powers. But, of course, Scarlet Witch, bans her and beats her ass, and it's no big deal. And then there's also some government agencies that are trying to save the people inside here. And eventually, the government also makes a new vision. So the two visions start beating each other's ass, and they're flying around. And then Scarlet Witch fights the evil witch and beats her. And then eventually Scarlet Witch is like, okay, this needs to end. And then the other visions, they talk to each other and realize what's going on. And the one vision just flies away, and the other vision comes back to her. And it all disintegrates because it was all in her mind. She turns it all off. And that's the end of the fucking show. I was like, that is terrible. There was no Doctor Strange. There was rumor it might be X-Men being their first debut and all this stuff.
You were waiting for some Grogu.
Nothing happened. It was terrible. There was no Grogu reveal in this.
Yeah.
But there's an end scene where she's off in a cat. Like Bruce Banner went off in a cat. A lot of Marvel heroes
always in the cabin.
Love these cabins.
They go off the grid.
So she's practicing her witchness in this cabin. That's how the credits end. So she's supposed to lead into Doctor Strange 2, which I don't care about that one either. I never asked me how many Doctor Strange comics I've.
That's the Cumbersnatch.
Yeah,
one,
how
right?
many Doctor Strange comics has Steve ever bought as a kid? 0.0. Because Doctor Strange sucks as much as the Scarlet Witch. This is a 5 out of 10. I mean, the graphics are movie quality, and the effects are movie quality. And there are some good. I like Kat Dennings, and I like Randall Park from Fresh Off the Boat. Right, that's his name. They're good in it, and there's a couple
from
other
the Young Rock. He's in that.
He's in
a little bit of everything.
He was in Ant-Man too, and so his character moved over to this one.
I'm not a big Marvel guy. I do think it's neat that they're tying everything together. That is always the one thing. If I'm going to give a feather in a Captain Marvel, is having everything tied together is the line blurring between TV show and movie, and just having, because that's what ultimately comic books do, is they all kind of mix and match and all that. I get that. Yeah. That's cool. So that's the one thing I'll give Marvel. I'm still not watching it.
It's not, unless you're just really into witchcraft. I mean, who
can't
really
tell you? BB talks about it every week. It's exhausting.
He's like the other day in my Wiccan book. I mean, who collects comics for witches? Nobody.
Yeah.
It's I want to see Superman and Batman and Captain America. A witch. What
Listen,
do I care?
You don't know witches. Okay?
Apparently, I don't.
It's International Women's Month this month, and we need to start introducing some female characters. You're a sexist pig.
Where's Black Widow and Storm?
You brought out a bunch of male characters because you're a chauvinist piece of shit. Give
me a good Wonder Woman movie. Give me Black Widow or give me Storm. Not Scarlet Witch. She was fucking terrible. Show sucked. It's 5 out of 10. The next up is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We'll see how that goes. That's going to be more action-oriented, so I'm hoping it's better than this. Right now, Disney Plus not blowing up my socks.
Well, I got news for you. Did you see the news about their subscribers at Disney
They're
Plus?
over 100 million.
100 million, and they were only at 49 in August.
Yeah.
So they don't give two shits that you ain't down. They don't give two shits I cancel. They don't care.
If I was into these characters, I probably would have loved this show. I just don't give a shit about it.
You just can't believe anyone would be into it.
Yeah, there are people. Kevin Smith, of course, loves them, but he loves
Smith.
everything.
Yeah.
Anything's made from a comic. Even if it's terrible, you won't admit
Yeah,
it's
but usually
terrible.
that's your rule.
Yeah, but not with these characters. So, all right, that's WandaVision. It's a 5. Coming to America, it's a 5. And let's round out the triple 5s with Hitman
Not
3.
a 5.
BB says not a 5.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
It's not a 5.
Average on Coming to America was a 4. So Hitman 3, I've played 1 and 2. I don't remember it being so touchy. This Hitman, if you go in one area with the wrong suit,
You
he
alert-
immediately
yeah.
finds you on this one. I can't get past the first fucking mission. It's driving me nuts. Of course, it's very slow paced. It's
methodical. It's trial and
you
error.
can't run and gun. It's trial and error. Yeah, I got to look up a walkthrough. The graphics, I say, look nice. Okay, but they don't blow you away.
This is a PS5 version. of this
PS5
game?
version, yeah.
You bought this game, right?
Yeah, I got it on sale for $40 at Best Buy, so I was like, all right. Random sale. I should have known why a PS5 goes on sale for $40. The first mission is this giant tower.
That's $30
in Dubai.
off at this point.
Yeah, really. Jesus. And this giant tower in Dubai, and it looks nice and everything looks good. It's so slow, so methodical, and so goddamn boring. And it's extra sensitive where the other two weren't. Like, I can make it through a mission.
If some goes sideways a little bit, you can still kind of fudge your way through.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. This one, no. This one's super touchy. You weren't in that maintenance man outfit when you came around that corner. We all found you. Put your hands up. It's like, son of a bitch. So I'm repeating a lot on this one where I don't remember doing that on the first two. So right now for me, it's a 5, another 5. Hitman 3. I know everyone's desperate for new games on the PS5, but this one's. If you love the formula and you have the patience to repeat the mission 347 times, maybe that's why they call him Agent 47. It takes you 47 tries to pass one mission. Yeah. That's not fun for me. It's a 5. One thing about Splinter Cell, even if you got caught, you can still gun a little bit.
Yeah.
They'll
give you a little bit of leeway.
Yeah, and same thing with Metal Gear. But this
especially my favorite Metal Gear. What's the PS3 game? 4 is the
something like that.
The Patriots one. No, the Patriots one is the best one. Yeah, Sons of Liberty that is a fantastic game because it finally leaned action wise. You could stealth, but like you said, if it went sideways, you didn't quite.
You could load that machine gun and go to town. Yeah. You got to have a blend. You can't just be all one. Yeah. It's just
it's too maddening and it's like too touchy. To your point.
So now there you go, Charles. I had a bunch of turd sandwiches this week.
Well, let me add another slice to that turd sandwich.
Let's get a side order of turd to go with all our turd sandwiches.
I talked about they launched the Paramount Plus network. They got rid of CBS All Access. Is that what they were called beforehand? And they relaunched, rebranded. Now we're into the Paramount Network. We added the Comedy Central content. I'm going to put an asterisk next to added for all this, just so we know.
I don't interrupt you, but all these streaming services are all going with Plus. Is the Plus now like Super was back in the 90s, Super Nintendo, Super Mario Land?
So
now we got
get
Plus
the PlayStation
everything.
5 Plus coming out.
Yeah, all these goddamn Pluses. 2020, the year of the Plus.
So
21.
They basically rebranded and they brought in. So Viacom owns.
Which is CBS.
CBS Viacom.
Yes.
Owns MTV Suite, the Comedy Central stuff, all that. Okay? And they added that to that CBS All Access. And now this gets you for $30 for $10 a month, you get all this content. Again, Steve loves those Fruity Pebbles wafers, man. I'm going to put an asterisk next to it because here's the problem. Let's go through what I think they did good. So I've never seen on a streaming service, i.e. the Peacock Network or anything like that, where you get the channels themselves able to stream. On CBS or on Paramount Plus, you can get the 4 CBS channels. You can see the live feeds. It'll actually pull up Channel 62's live feed into your Paramount. I thought that was neat. It'll also do like CBS SN and all that kind of stuff and bring it over to you. Okay, cool. The rest of it's hot garbage because they're launching these services, and Discovery Plus is guilty of it a little bit because there's definitely some holes in their content. Like I have Forged in Fire that's an issue. And Pawn
yeah, but
Stars.
your Discovery Plus, I found out the other day, you're getting the 1,000-Pound Sisters quicker than I am.
I get it the day of.
Yeah, because when we go to, we usually watch it the day after. Yeah, how did Charles see this already?
Dude, I love that Discovery Plus. It is just checking all the boxes.
Okay, back
for
to
me
the
and my
turd,
household.
Back to the turd.
Yeah, so the turd. So CBS has signed contracts very similar to how The Office went to Netflix and all this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. A bunch of their stuff is just missing.
Well, Dave Chappelle's not going to be on the Comedy Central one. Netflix owns it.
Steve, we can go on and on for hours.
But don't they have Indiana Jones, though?
Okay, great. They have Indiana Jones.
I just find it weird that Disney Plus doesn't have Indiana Jones, But Paramount Plus does.
And they got the Godfather trilogy because, again, who can't watch that for like a nickel somewhere right now? I don't understand. Like, so they all these companies signed all their content away, and then they realized 2 years later, oh snap, we can make our own service and maybe make some bread here. Like, what happened? And the problem is all their shit is just gone. So I can watch 3,000 seasons of Survivor on CBS All Access. So then I'm like, oh, well, what do they have for Amazing Race? 1 season. Where's the rest of it? Must have been farmed out to someone. I could watch all the seasons of Robin Big. Not there. Farmed out to someone. 1 season of Fantasy Factory. Only half, the first few seasons of The Real World, 15 seasons missing, and then like the last new one. Gone.
Ugh.
It's just like, okay, so here's the problem. You're asking people to give you $10 for all this content, and I just named you off just a handful of things. Pimp My Ride is not there. You can't pull up no
Pimp My Ride?
No exhibit, no nothing.
Oh, man.
No ridiculousness.
I need a TV in my ride.
Dude, it's, Steve, it has got so many holes in the content. So let's talk about, and you're going to bring...
Teen Wolf on the MTV one?
I didn't look up Teen Wolf. I don't know. I don't want to speak on that one.
Teen Wolf was not high
not on
your
my
list.
radar.
It's the other show on MTV I can think of.
But I'm just saying, like, these services are launching.
Teen Mom?
I think that there's huge holes in their Teen Mom stuff. And
wow.
These services are too premature. What I mean for that is Tosh.0, great show. They don't have any of the new Tosh.0s at all. Just gone. Like, so what am I going to do? Like, why am I paying you for this old shit that, like, no one, like, and then the holes that exist. Like, I don't, the only thing
Did you watch Dora the Explorer?
Yeah, I think so, but not probably, I guarantee not all of it. And the only thing that's neat is, like I said,
How do you know what happens to Boots?
I don't know, man. You just have to figure it out. Swipe or no swiping. I don't know what happened. But it just, I got to tell you, it's an avoid. If you love Star Trek, go all in. If you love Survivor and want to watch every season of Survivor, okay. I got 30 days for free. I already canceled it. Like, I'll see you. I'll watch. So Heather's like, much like BV, we wanted to watch that reboot of The Real World. They released 1 episode. And it's all skewing towards the one brother where they're talking about how influential he was at, like, pushing, like, black agenda and all this kind of stuff. So it's like they already, you can see what they're pushing for that. This is a mess, people. The SpongeBob movie, Heather railed against. You're going to ask us here in a little bit. Heather hated it. She's like, this is the worst
you guys
movie.
Paid $20 for that?
For what?
Or was it on Paramount?
It was on Paramount. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just a disaster. Avoid this service, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I think that NBC needs to put their live channel streams in the Peacock network. I think that that's smart. That's the one thing I was like, okay, like, but again, I can get CBS in my house with an antenna. So what do we? This is terrible.
So scale of 1 to 10, what are you giving it?
I give this a 3 out of 10. Yeah, and I'm not a Star Trek guy. So, like, to me, I'm a Star Wars person. If I'm going to pay for something, I'm going to go get the Star Wars content on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Well, a lot of diehard Star Trek fans don't like those new series, especially the Discovery. Some people like Picard.
It probably skews too much towards action, and they get all, like, annoyed. Like, well, why are they not talking?
I don't know the reasons, but yeah.
I'm sure it's some BS thing. I saw one decent, like, movie, but I thought you had talked about it before. It's called Console Wars. It talked about the Nintendo versus
But I didn't
Sega.
see it on there. I could have sworn it was on Netflix when I saw it.
I don't know.
There was a lot about Sega. Did the one guy say he was on vacation in Hawaii?
Yeah.
That's the one I saw.
Yeah, so it was good, but again, all the movies are all old. This is bad.
And it's commercial free?
It is commercial free. I'll tell you that, but I paid $10 because you can't get a commercial tier right now. So Paramount Plus, people, is a huge skip for me. Just the holes in the content. Just the holes. So like right now, with the Discovery Plus, like Steve's saying, I'm getting the shows that I would have watched on TLC Discovery.
But there are some missing on there, though, too.
There is. But I would say that the current content, just the early access to the current content, I watched, to Steve's point, I watched 1,000 Pound Sisters the morning it comes out, before it even airs. It's already on Discovery Plus. And that goes for every Food Network show, every Discovery show, everything shows up there before it actually airs. So if I have time in the day before, like I always do for 1,000-Pound Sisters, because I'm here with Lorna, I end up watching. You annoy me
because you text me about it. I'm like, I didn't see that. What are you talking about?
It's the Slatton Sisters. I get there early. So and then the other thing too, I turn on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. That's my background thing, like we talk about all the time. Throw it on and just kind of every season of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, the whole catalog. But if this were on Paramount Plus, there would be like 16 seasons in the middle that would just be gone. And that's how Paramount Plus is. I'm not a fan of this service, people. Maybe in a year or two, when they start to actually get their stuff back, similar to how Peacock is trying to work that out. But come on.
Yeah. So there we go. We had a whole laundry list of crap this week. And Bill was even in on it. He said it was crap. I thought it was crap. I mean, people may argue with me about WandaVision, and I understand that. It wasn't for me. So, and it wasn't for my wife either. She's into the witches and stuff, and even she was like,
of Eastwick?
Yeah. Well, she's got the Discovery of Witches. If she's still listening, she'd be like, yeah.
Well, you talking about your dog perch? I'm going to use the bathroom again. I got to go every week now.
I know. Charles has got a small, tiny little wee man bladder. He drinks a jug of water every day, and it goes right through him. So, Bill, I'm supposed to get new furniture, and the whole saga that'll be talked about a little later, but the one thing we have is our 15-pound Shih Tzus like to get on top of the furniture to look out the window. And we've had this problem, 13 years now, because Daisy's 13 years old. And the dog tends to ruin the top of the furniture by doing this, even though we ask him at the furniture store. Well, the dog ruined the top. No, Mr. Markey, this is sturdy stuff. Sure shit, you're in, top of the furniture's ruined. Every goddamn time. So we finally remedied it, Bill, if I can speak right. I bought from Amazon. It's called a Dog Perch. Now, I didn't put the tag in here, but essentially what it is, it's a platform with a pad on top, and it's got two walls around it, and it goes right up against you could put it, ideally they pitched it for the side of the bed. So if you had a dog or a cat and you wanted not to sleep on the bed, but they could sleep on the perch next to the bed. But it's also windowsill height. So we put it in front of the window, and it comes with steps. And they climb up the steps, get on the perch. They sit there, look out the window. Daisy is happy. She can protect the yard and not have to ruin my furniture at the same time. So it's a win-win for the dog and myself at the same time. Here's the only problem. It's ridiculously overpriced. It's $170 for this goddamn dog perch. Everything with animals I've realized in life is... It's just overpriced because everyone's like, "Oh, it's your animal."
I was gonna say they don't care. There's a lot of guilt in that industry of like, listen, like no cost is too prohibitive.
So for me, the product is good. It's got the pad. It did take Daisy a day or two to figure it out. Once she did, she loved it.
She does. She's into it now.
Yeah,
she said she was very lukewarm to begin.
Yeah. Well, we ended up buying a new set of steps. Also, it only comes with a 2-stepper, and then there's like a
big
foot
gap in there.
She has to jump a foot.
Okay.
For some reason, the dog can leap on the couch from the ground to the top, but can't jump this foot.
The angles, man.
So we had to get a 4-stepper step, and now it's perfect. It's the right height. She can up and down all day. And now the tubby white one wants to get up there just a spider. Like she'll get up there.
She'll take the perch.
She'll be like looking down like, ha ha ha. The two of them are fighting over it all the time now. Even though Lily has no desire to look out the window, she only does it to fuck with Daisy. That's the only reason.
She's trolling.
But it is a good thing. It keeps him from ruining your furniture. It needs to be like $80. $170 is just.
But you could make the argument too, though, if it saves you a few $1,000s of the furniture.
It's going to pay for itself because she's not going to ruin my nice new recliner I have sitting next to it. She has not been on the recliner, so I got a recliner now. She uses the dog perch, doesn't touch the recliner, so it did work. The perch did work. Okay. So, I mean, $170 is a little pricey. But it did work. It's going to save my furniture. At the same time, you probably could get a small table from IKEA, put a pad on top of it, and just slap some steps next to it at the same time. But it's not what it was designed for. It works out fine. And there you go. So that is my review of a dog perch. Anyone out there and then there's a lot of dog owners out there I know that are suffering from ruined furniture because your dog thinks it's a damn German Shepherd, needs to look out the window every 2 seconds.
Well, what you need to do is you need to post a link to Facebook so people can see what you're referring to, because I can't visualize the perch
I'll
that
do
you're
that.
talking about.
I will definitely post some links later tonight or tomorrow probably. So there you go, the dog perch. All right, Bill, this is where your time to shine. I'm going to tell you what you're going to watch this March. You can tell me you're going to watch it. You're going to tell me what the fuck or no, thank you. And first up, and Charles left the note on this already, SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. This is exclusive to Paramount Plus, apparently.
Yeah.
Or you can pay $20 on Vudu or whatever streaming service you have to watch this. Bill, what do you say about SpongeBob, the Sponge on the Run?
I kind of like SpongeBob, but I don't have Paramount Plus, and I'm not getting it. And I wouldn't pay $20 to watch SpongeBob, so I have to say this is probably a no.
I have Paramount Plus, and I am not watching it. My wife said it's a turd, and she said to avoid it, so I'm good.
All right. Next up, Raya and the Last Dragon. This is an animated
Is it
Disney.
Raya?
I'm not sure how. Raya. It's in theaters and Disney Plus. I will be going this weekend to see it, so I am a yes.
You sucker.
We got to imagine gift card we haven't used. We're going to go see it. Bill, what do you think?
You are just really holding on to
I will not let go.
the last strings of theater world. It's over, man.
It's not over. Go this weekend.
This is not for me, and I just axed Disney Plus also. So
did you?
No.
Okay. Were you paying for Disney Plus BV or pack in on something?
It was packed in. It was that package originally that came with Hulu and ESPN.
Plus. Yeah. Okay. I'm a no, and my daughter's lukewarm on it, so I think we're going to be able to avoid this. If anything, when we get Disney Plus back later on, I'm sure we'll watch it for free by the time it comes to that. And you're a sucker.
Next up on Hulu, this is Boss Level. This is like Groundhog's Day meets an action movie. This guy's the guy from Captain America: Civil War. He played the bad guy. He's a good guy in this.
Chris Klein?
Frank Zillo, I think his name is.
Oh.
Yeah. It's Chris Klein. Are you serious? Hulu? Are you kidding me?
Oh, you said the guy from Captain America. That's how
that played the bad guy. Let me finish there.
Oh.
So, Bill, Boss Level, any interest?
No.
Steven's hiccups.
Yeah, I know. Charles?
It's repetitive storytelling. If you said Groundhog's Day, it's the worst form of storytelling. I'm a no.
I will one-up you. It's a Hulu movie. It's a hot piece of trash. I sat through 4 of those turds. No. Next up, Apple TV, this is Cherry. This is Tom Holland, little Spider-Man guy, ex-military, suffering from PTSD, and he seems like he robs banks as well, and his life goes down a turn. Why it's called Cherry, I don't know. It looks like a piece of shit to me. I'm a no. Bill?
I both concur and do not have Apple TV, so no.
I have Apple TV till July. Depending on how bored I get one time, I might check out Holly's boyfriend, because isn't Holly in love with Tom Holland?
She was for a while, yes.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if she's over that or not. But
yeah, I have it till July, I found out, because as I was going through my iTunes subscriptions to cancel Paramount Plus, so I'll probably check it out if I get bored.
Operation Varsity Blues, this is a documentary. And I forgot what it's about. I don't think it's football.
It's about the grade scam thing with the celebrities getting their kids into school.
Yes, that's what it is. Felicity Huffman and all them. You can watch Aunt Becky go to jail behind the scenes.
Lori Loughlin.
Bill, what are your thoughts? You want to watch that?
It's one of those things where if I'm bored, I may check it out because it's a documentary, but this isn't exactly the most interesting issue to me of all time. So it's a 50-50.
If I had Netflix, from a litigation standpoint, I need to understand. I would need to kick the tires and watch this, because why did they throw the book at these people? I don't understand.
Yeah,
people buy goddamn libraries for these colleges all the time and let all their kids in. Why the hell did they attack freaking Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin as beside me? I don't get it. This shit's been going on for years.
Well, but there's a difference between buying buying a building for somebody and doing there. You're just blatantly buying it. Where in this case, they're actually committing a fraudulent act. It's a crime. The crime is moral perpetuity here.
Same results though. You get an
It's the same thing. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, it's the same thing, but it's a different way of
going
about it.
So because the university didn't get the money directly, we got issues. That's bullshit.
Well, you're not committing an act of fraud either. You're not being buying.
But if I give you new urinals and your whole thing, and the Charles Markey Memorial urinals, and you let Lorna in, that's okay. It's so stupid. It's the biggest crock of shit I've ever seen in my life. I get that it's
So
fraud.
you would watch this
but
if you had Netflix?
I would totally watch it.
I will not watch this on title fraud because I thought that had something to do
Part of me beat
with
out.
Texas football.
When you said Varsity Blues, I was like, wait, what?
I knew it wasn't. I just couldn't remember. I'm glad Bill looked it up. Good job.
Cannot condone crimes against moral perpetuity.
It's bullshit.
Next one, I gotta watch this or I lose my comic book cred. Zack Snyder's, and I was gonna watch it regardless. Justice League cut, Zack Snyder's version, a 4-hour.
That's what I was
going
gonna ask. So they we'll talk about it in the news. They but people couldn't get to the end in time. It's so long.
Yeah, so I will be watching this. I'm a big yes. Bill.
First, I have to correct myself. I meant to say moral turpitude. I said moral perpetuity.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's moral turpitude.
It's
Sorry.
still bullshit. Whatever it is.
Okay,
we all agree.
there are the two words in this title are Justice League, which equals, superheroes, which equals no.
And Charles?
I'll be curious. I will be curious to hear your review and to see because everyone railed against that first movie so badly.
Mm-hmm.
I would be curious to hear if they do anything to correct the comic book nerds' issues with the. How did he redo 4 hours to redo? Was he Peter Jackson? Like, what's going
I
on?
don't know. I guess I'll find out. There's already rumor that a lot of execs have already watched it and said it's still a big steaming pile of
Oh,
shit.
really?
And they're just glad it's over and there'll be no sequel.
Wow.
So I don't know. We'll find out. And of course, the next up on your
Steve will
whirlwind
watch him with
tour
his pants around his ankle.
comic book, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Bucky Barnes and the Falcon are taking over. They're trying to fill a void from Captain America retiring. It's going to be 6 episodes.
If you hear any
40
liquid hit
minutes.
the floor, now it's Steve's nut hitting the floor.
It's not very long. It's only 6 episodes at about 40 minutes an episode. So I'm a big yes, of course.
Shocker.
No one was shocked by that, Bill.
Hard pass.
It's comic books. Steve's wrong. It's a no.
It's a big month I got coming up here, you can see. And also this month, Charles and I is one of our personal
a little
favorites.
bummed on this
Superstore, the series finale, end of this month. I'm a
They're
yes.
doubling up the episodes. Be careful. Watch your DVRs. I think 1 week there's 2 episodes on in 1 week.
they're
and
trying to
stuff
get 'em
like
out
that.
quick,
Yeah,
huh?
that's what I'm saying. So they're
Put
either
that Young Rock on Thursday. Is what they're about to do.
so.
Bill, what are your thoughts?
I think this is one of those shows that I'll go back and watch whenever it lands. And well, I guess it's just gonna land at Peacock, so maybe I won't. But I never caught on to the show, so I don't know. So I won't see it because I haven't seen any of it. But it sounds like it's a good show.
Problem is, me and Steve probably talked it up a little too much for you. And unfortunately, it's a little more subtle in its humor. It's not office level humor. It's a little bit, just a half step underneath it. But I totally was entertained by the show. I'm sad to see it go. I really am. I also don't think that the departure of America Ferrera was that big a deal, but they must have. So I don't know.
I think they're pulling the plug a year or two too soon.
Yeah.
But the Goldbergs is a year or two too late.
Yeah, but I mean, think about NBC could work a whole night where like you'd have the Young Rock into Superstore, and you could start to build a night of NBC shows
and cancel Keenan. Next is Invincible
really
on Amazon. This is an animated superhero show. Obviously, Steve's watching, so I say yes. Bill, are you watching?
Steve's spooging on that one.
Gee, a lot of spooks this month.
So this is
I'm gonna be
superhero
so
plus
drained.
Amazon.
Because wait till you hear the next movie.
Double no.
BB hit that with a double no.
Oh man!
I tried to watch it when I thought it was randomly on HBO Now. If you remember when it was Invisible or whatever, I was like, "Oh, that's on there. I'll watch that." So I can talk to Steve about it. I don't have Amazon. Not getting it for this. Coming to America is a hot piece of trash. Something good.
And next up, my final spoof of the month: Godzilla vs. King Kong, HBO
And
Max.
Steve's nuts are dry.
I am watching it, but have no faith in this movie whatsoever. Bill, what do you think?
Yeah, I saw a preview. No.
Damn, Bill's watching nothing this month.
I have to watch it just so I can break Steve's balls about it, how terrible it's going to be. It's
not going to be good, dude.
It's a homework thing for me, BB, is what it's going to be. So I'm going to watch it. I'm going to hate it. I can't wait to rail against Steve about it.
My early suspicion is if they do keep fighting, I think Kong wins. That's what they're going to make. Oh, who wins? Because Kong uses weapons.
Give me an early prediction on the score that you give just going into it. What do you think it's going to be?
Well, I think
the
I'm
track
give
record
it
of HBO shows.
is Steve 6. I want to give it an 8 or a 9. It's going to be a Steve 6.
And so you're saying you like Kong in a late round stoppage? Is that...
Yes, I do. I think the two of them are going to fight for a little bit, and then a third monster showing up, and they'll team up to kill the third monster. Is what I think is going to happen. Next up, Tom
Godzilla or something. Or?
Yeah, Mecha Godzilla. Yeah, there you go. See, BV knows.
I like the old school Godzilla stuff.
Oh man, see. So Tom Holland's back again at the end of the month.
What's going on?
Chaos Walking. Hear him in Daisy Ridley. Daisy Ridley plays like this alien from
Daisy Ridley from The Force Awakens.
Yes, she has some kind of special powers. Tom Holland's like this white trash guy that befriends her and tries to save her from government and stuff like that. Got terrible reviews. It's only at theaters right now, so I'm a no. Bill?
So yeah, I looked it up, and so if I'm understanding this correctly, it's supposed to be like a dystopian version of What Women Want, except that it's all guys, and they can just like tell what you're thinking. So I mean, this checks every single no box I possibly could imagine. This is. I don't have enough no's for.
No. If I'm watching Godzilla,
no to the no.
BB needs to go watch this in a theater with his wife. I'm a no. I don't even know what this was. I don't give a shit. Tom Holland's got a whole thing. He's got a lot of bills to pay.
Yeah, outside of Spider-Man, he's terrible. All right, so that's gonna wrap it up. What
I have it on good authority. He's super hot.
Yeah, some young girl in Taylor thinks he's the best. All right, man. We're going to the news this week.
What is this? Steve's checking out.
So first off, HBO Max has learned that not everyone likes to pay $15 a month.
Yeah.
So they are looking into a lower tier ad-based HBO Max. Bill, are you interested in an HBO Max that has commercials in it? Regular HBO doesn't. So would you pay for an HBO Max with commercials? Say it's $8 a month. No?
I wouldn't pay for HBO Max now at all if I didn't already just have been too stupid over the years to cancel the HBO I have with my regular subscription for DirecTV.
At least you accept your stupidity, BB. Congratulations.
Yeah, no, that's just, yeah. So my, I guess we'll call, I don't know, just stupidity, my neglect of paying attention to my costs of television.
How much you got in student loan debt, BB? It's gonna be
same amount he's got to pay for HBO Max.
Yeah, pay for that HBO Max. Get rid of that HBO Max, put that through your student loan.
Yeah, there you go.
So, Charles, would you buy a lower tier HBO Max?
I am one of the crazy people. I will gladly give you a few dollars up front to not watch commercials. Yeah. I am a big proponent of $2 or $3 is not worth the time in my life that I save is well worth it to me.
Especially considering the amount of television you watch.
Yeah, I gladly pay extra for the ad-free tier all the time if it's available. I get annoyed if they don't offer an ad-free tier. I'm like, well, I don't want to sit through your bullshit commercials. That's half of my annoyance at YouTube a lot of times. I don't know how to get rid of some of the bullshit ads on YouTube because YouTube has got ADD ads. It's the same thing every time over and over again.
So there you go. Now, of course, we talked about it a little earlier. Zack Snyder's Justice League, it was actually released on accident on the Tom and Jerry movie.
How do they do that?
Someone crossed their wires somewhere. But no one got to finish it.
Because it's 4 hours long.
But there have been a couple people out there who've seen the first couple hours of the movie. But then I think HBO caught onto it and
how did they catch on? I wonder. Like, was someone tweeting about?
I
wonder, like social media and stuff.
We're the generation of snitches. We all snitch on ourselves. You got free Justice League 3 weeks earlier. Let me go to Twitter and tell everyone. Dumbass.
Yeah. So they were trying to watch Tom and Jerry. Was the article? Is that what you're saying?
and then instead
the digital
Justice
content that loaded was the Justice League.
Wow. So someone had their wires crossed, but it wasn't for everybody. It only happened for a select few people. So it's really weird. Really weird glitch.
Shame on those people watching that Tom and Jerry movie, though.
That's why I have no hope for King Kong and Godzilla. All right, next up, Charles, you remember Kellen Winslow II?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
His father played in the NFL and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Well, he played for the Browns and the Chargers. He was a tight end.
Yeah, he went on to be the show Family Matters is about the Winslow family and all that kind of stuff with Steve Urkel.
I'm pretty sure that checks out. Yeah, so people are very familiar. Well,
you might remember he's also a fucking soldier.
That he is a soldier. That man was convicted of rape and will be serving 14 years. And Bill, tell us some details on those rapes you were telling me earlier.
What?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Wait, what?
We were talking about this over the weekend, and so so I looked it up, and so he's convicted of multiple rapes, but Like he was. I remember some of it was like a couple things he got away with. Like he apparently showed his genitalia to a 75-year-old woman, like outside somewhere.
75?
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I'm just gonna look up his right because this is.
And
this
then
is
there was like a 54-year-old hitchhiker that he may have.
yeah, like oh no, she was homeless. He raped a 54-year-old homeless woman because the thought would be that she couldn't
tell on anybody.
that she wouldn't be able to tell anybody. Here we go. So he was He was sentenced to 14 years in multiple rapes and other sexual offenses against 5 women in Southern California, including one who was homeless when he attacked her in 2018. Yeah. So apparently he went after older chicks. So he performed a lewd act in front of a 77-year-old woman at a gym while hiding his GPS monitoring ankle bracelet with a towel. He also exposed himself to a 57-year-old neighbor who was gardening while having a bike app that gave his location at the time. Let's see here. The forcible rape involved a woman who was homeless in his hometown of Encinitas. She was among 4 of the women who gave statements saying that she was raped and has had trouble raising her head walking. Okay, feels right. Yeah, so basically he rapes old women. Oh, I'm sorry. He also, one of the things that he was not, that they couldn't agree on charges for was the alleged 2018 rape of a 54-year-old hitchhiker and the 2003 rape of an unconscious 17-year-old high school senior who went to a party with him when he was 19. But to avoid being retried on those charges, he pleaded guilty to raping the teen and to sexual battery of the hitchhiker.
So he's been a busy boy.
So he gets his. I mean, this wasn't an isolated rape incident.
Well, someone
He's
test
been
him for
raping.
CTE immediately.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
He's fucked in the head. It'll be another Aaron Hernandez. He's hanging himself in a jail cell.
Jesus Christ.
So Kevin Linswell, some of you may remember, he came out of the
I remember him as
University
a
of Miami.
Brown mostly is why I think.
Yeah.
Was he played in college in Miami, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Was a really good tight end. Then there you go.
Do you think, and I'm just going to ask a question here, do you think that, like, tight ends got to go across the middle? You know what I mean? Like, is that, you joke and ingest about, like, a CTE
I'm
thing.
joking. His brains are scrambled.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm wondering, like,
There's something wrong with him.
Yeah, like, the concussions and shit that these tight ends are facing because they're going across the middle, man.
He's Chris Benoit level crazy right now.
Yeah.
They. I mean, pretty much every catch they make is in traffic.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Wow. Just like that meathead in fucking Tampa Bay. You know, he's at about 57.
Yeah, wow.
So, all right. Now, also, Charles, do you watch the hot takes or whatever that is?
I don't. I saw this, and I'm not a fan of I don't watch.
Shannon Sharp's the other guy.
Shannon Sharp is opposite him on Fox. Skip Bayless moved from ESPN to Fox, and then he got Shannon Sharp because Stephen A. Smith is now the face of ESPN. Somehow, ESPN only pays Stephen A. Smith. Every other piece of talent they've gotten rid of, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, I'm not a fan of this. I see a few things here and there. Skip Bayless was always that guy who was trying for those, like, controversial sound bites.
Yeah. He's always been doing that.
Yeah.
I only see highlights every once in a while on YouTube.
Yeah.
I couldn't even, really, I don't even know what channel Fox Sports is in Detroit on my cable. I have no idea. But he's 69 years old, and more power to him, signed a $32 million deal with Fox Sports.
Well, you got him and Colin Cowherd are pretty much the 2 big names that have moved over to there and are kind of their 1-2 punch of named people that kind of can actually drive some traffic to them. But I'm just not into it. Is Shannon Sharp still coming back with this too? Okay. Did he get a payday or you don't know?
I don't know. I don't think his contract was up yet. So
I don't know. BB, are you into it at all?
I've never liked Skip Bayless. Like you said, he's. I think he's one of those guys that doesn't even genuinely believe half of what comes out of his mouth.
Yeah, just to try to stir it.
He says things to stoke controversy and to try to get under athletes' skin. He tries to agitate athletes so they'll come back at him. And he
drive those clicks kind of thing.
He's one of those abrasive contrarian types that just. Yeah, he's just trying to piss the world off because it gives him publicity.
I don't like Max Kellerman opposite of Stephen A. Smith either. I don't know if you have an opinion there. I think that he's kind of miscast over there. Max Kellerman's only good when you get him into boxing. That's the only time I like Max Kellerman.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what he knows.
Yeah, that's what
so
he's
to
good.
get, I mean, he's a one of the foremost boxing experts in the world. But yeah, as far as I've seen a little bit of him with Stephen A. Smith, and I just don't. He doesn't convince you that he really knows what he's talking about a whole lot with other sports, and he's just. I hate to say because I love him as a boxing commentator, and
he's good there,
and expert. He's not that charismatic or entertaining in this either. So, I mean, he has a radio show too. That's it's kind of just average.
There. I'll be honest.
Yeah, if he's not talking about boxing, I'm not interested in it.
Between Sports Talk on the radio and Pat McAfee, that's the only thing I listen to.
Pat McAfee is so
I don't watch
football centric is why I love Pat McAfee. I just need football centric commentary.
And that's him.
Yeah, and the problem is I kind of fall out a lot of my sports stuff until football kind of rears up, and then he's entertaining enough to pull me in occasionally here and there. Like I told you, I knew about the Russell Wilson stuff he's been talking about, but I need football centric conversation.
Yep.
And honestly, with when the pandemic started, and everything went to how we deal with the pandemic with sports, I've gotten completely away from sports talk. I don't listen to sports talk at all now. McAfee, which I'll either listen to live on YouTube while I'm working, or I'll watch clips if I miss him.
Yeah,
I don't follow any sports talk anymore.
Yeah, me either.
Except on the radio. Listen to Valenti on 97?
I listen to Valenti.
Yeah, I like him.
They do a lot of football still. They do the NFL Rush every day at like 4:30.
And that's
like
good.
Right when I get off work.
Problem is, you and I both know the issue there is them commercial breaks, dude. Ooh. They kill me. But Valenti gets paid a mint now, so they gotta make sure they pay his bills and stuff like that. But it's brutal. You could make it most of your way home before you actually hear some content. Like,
I say right now, anyone out there listening in the world, if you didn't see it this past week, watch the Pat McAfee interview of MCDC, Mo City Dan Campbell.
That was awesome.
I gotta admit, I'm liking this guy more and more just because of Pat McAfee. I want to get an MCDC T-shirt, man. I know. It's like I could give two shits about this guy until Pat McAfee. You had the greatest interview ever. He's like, you're gonna bite kneecaps off. Cracking me up. And then Dan Campbell, I was gonna call him Motor City Dan. He was like, I was gonna hire you, Pat, for special teams. Pat. He was like, really? I mean, it's so fucking good. I love it. And then he asked Dan Campbell if he would suit up, get out there, bust heads. He goes, I feel like it from time to time. And I was like, you just don't see interviews like that with most. Yeah. Most of them give you those generic answers that nobody cares about. Yeah, he made me like Aaron Rodgers. Nobody likes Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. It wasn't for fucking Pat McAfee. But anyways, now, Bill, I told you we were going to talk about AEW. Now it's the time. I don't know if your buddy's probably signed off by now, but AEW.
I don't know who that guy was, so I have no idea.
I don't know what it is either. So
he's one mutual friend it was Scott Bergeron.
Oh, he probably caught me on Scott's podcast and came over for a little bit. Then when we weren't, he loves wrestling. There was a guy when I was on Scott's podcast, we were talking about some old time wrestling and stuff, and he kept chanting wrestling, and then he probably tuned in here and realized we weren't talking about wrestling and took off. So AEW did have a pay-per-view called Revolution, and they were promoting that they're going to have a Hall of Fame type wrestler sign with them. And the weekly
this is previous or after the Paul White the Big Show stuff, right?
So Paul White signed a week and a half. On top of that, Paul White hinted about. So all week long, there was memes of Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar.
Oh, they were shooting for the stars.
John Cena. It was Christian. That's like, seriously, Christian.
Opposite of the Edge Christian.
Yeah. 42-year-old. I think he's 42-year-old Cage. Christian Cage. I mean, he's not a bad wrestler. And he'll fit in there because he's tiny and he can flip some too.
But does he still do it at that age?
I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. But I was like, that's the big reveal. I was like, that's a letdown. And then, so the main event was...
I like how they went from Kurt Angle down to Christian.
I mean, I don't care.
He's 47, by the way.
Oh, 47. He's not even 42.
But I mean, he was in the Royal Rumble we watched, and he seemed like he was fine.
Yeah, and he claims he's going to wrestle full time too. This isn't a part time.
This isn't a.
Well, he's another guy too that like suffered some kind of injury. I don't know if it was concussions or neck, and so he had to retire because of injury too. And then after so many years, now he's finally cleared to wrestle again, I think.
Yeah. So the main event was an exploding barbed wire match, I guess, between Moxley and Kenny Omega. And at the end of it, there's a timer that's going down. And then they wrestle each other. I think Kenny Omega wins, but Moxley's still in the ring. And what was supposed to happen, the ring was supposed to explode. Like the sides are going to blow out. and the ring was going to fall.
Collapse in,
kind of like Lesnar and Big Show did that one time on and there were going to be fireworks. Well, it didn't work. So just like sparklers kind of shot out the sides and some dry smoke came out and nothing else happened.
How does JR like pontificate past it?
I don't know, but I know Moxley stayed over with the mic and explained to the crowd and blamed Kenny Omega because Kenny Omega's the heel. The guy can't even rig up an exploding ring right. What the fuck's he doing? You know, that's what. So he blamed it on the heel and kind of put it in the story. But big dud. Everyone was expecting this big, cool, exploding thing, and nothing happened. So, especially because another wrestler came down and covered up Moxley because they thought it was going to be a big explosion, and then nothing happens, and they both got to stand up.
They both got to walk out all awkward.
Yeah, it's like, So there you go. AEW, they're going through some growing pains, but they have Christian now, so. Does that make you want to tune in, Bill, and see the debut of Christian on AEW Dynamite?
Yeah, that's a giant no.
That doesn't drive viewership. I'm surprised.
And not quite as much as Brock Lesnar might have.
I'm sure though wrestling fans like the ones that are sort of like in that Gabe age are probably all over this. They probably watched them when they were a kid, and
yeah, but you guys played this, and then you learned about their top wrestlers and realized it's not the case. So.
Yeah. All right. So now, Charles, what do you feel how safe a space hotel will be?
Not in our lifetime.
Well, 2027.
Not in our lifetime.
You could jump on Elon Musk's ship.
Not in our lifetime.
But the space hotel is not made by Elon Musk.
I understand you got to get there. And this thing keeps trying to land and explodes and shit. No. All right? You're crazy.
Why are you such a pussy?
Dude, I'm all for the vaccine and science and all this kind of shit. And I think that the world that my great-grandkids are living is going to be amazing. And I can't even wrap my brain around where it's going to go. No one thought of the internet when our dads were, our dad were coming up and all this kind of stuff. I think it's going to be an amazing future, and I'd love to live there. I'm not going to be able to see it, and this is crazy.
So I've already saw the prototype. So it's a big circular.
It looks like something out of like a
sci-fi movie.
Yeah,
and by moving in a circular motion, it's going to form its own gravity. So you won't be You won't be like up there just floating around banging off of shit. You'll actually be standing in.
You have to get there, Steve.
And then he wants to partner with Elon Musk's crew. This was SpaceX. And what they're going to do is taxi you up from there. Now, originally, the first flights are going to be really expensive, but the owner of the space hotel claims that 5 years after the operation start, he wants it to be the same price as a cruise would cost you. So for the price of a cruise, you can risk your life on a jet-fueled rocket to a space hotel. Bill, are you going to stay at the space hotel?
Okay, yeah, except a couple things. One, he's talking about a partner he doesn't have yet.
Yeah.
And he's talking about eventually down the line, but right now, assuming they can actually launch this in 2027, they're going to charge $250,000 per person per trip. So we also don't know, right? Because he's going to have to partner with someone that's going to get him there. So does a $250,000 include the launch to and from the space hotel, or is that extra?
Here's what I want to know.
No, I'm with Charles. This is crap.
I want to know.
Good luck to the idiots that are dumb enough to pay the money for this. Yeah, no, you know what? Someone is going to die.
They're going to pay with Bitcoin.
Few months, within the first few months. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's just, I don't even want to heir about this because this is
I do.
This is a pipe dream.
Because imagine how much the person gets paid that plunges the space toilets. And they need a tip of the spear for those space toilets. Maybe I'm listening.
Now Charles is thinking.
Yeah.
You pay Charles $150,000 a year to plunge space toilets.
Now we're talking.
This is a freaking joke.
Bill doesn't believe in it, and
not in 2027, like Charles said. Not in our lifetime.
6 years from now, you can pay off your house and car. And then save
I think that realistically will man at some point, and this is just putting my space hat on and saying like I said, in like my great grandkids, put it on, Steve. In my great grandkids' life, and your I think that the world's going to be a very cool and interesting place. I also think that climate change is going to ravage this planet, and they're going to have to start looking elsewhere. And who knows if like it becomes a Battlestar Galactica thing where you're just driving around or even floating around the Earth, hoping to figure out something. I don't know. Cool.
All right. Well, so that's the future. Let's look in the past now, Charles. You want to feel old?
Yeah, I do.
The The PS2 this past week turned 21 years old.
Wow.
I remember getting a launch version of this. Louise bought it for me at Sears. I gave her the cash.
Yeah, wow.
And she could only get one. And Bert was nice enough to let me have it instead of him. I was quite shocked by that.
Good job, Bert.
A launch version of PS2 I got 21 years ago.
I remember.
I can't believe it was that long ago.
Getting the network adapter and strapping in the old IDE hard drive on the inside of it so I could play some SOCOM with Brandon back in the day and stuff. Yeah,
and we were so mesmerized how people kept shooting us through walls and knew we were at.
Yeah,
it's like even back then there were cheaters. It's like, how is this possible?
Yeah, that's fun. I do. The PS2, I believe, is the #1 selling console ever, if I'm not mistaken. I think it sold something crazy, like 100 million units or something like that.
If not that, then it's the NES.
Yeah, it's something like that. Like, yeah, it's a huge piece of hardware for gaming history and stuff like that.
150 million units, but
it's something crazy. I know that.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
It is crazy. If you'd asked me how old I thought the PS2 was, but then again, I don't think I have. We made fun of Dad all those years growing up. I have zero concept of time the older I get.
PS2 just came out 5 years ago, right?
Like I have no concept.
And Bill, what are your thoughts on the PS2? Did you buy one at launch or did you wait?
I don't remember. I don't think I got one at launch, but I got it probably soon after.
Yeah, I know we had some epic Madden
I almost
on it.
don't remember having. I almost don't remember PS2.
Oh wow!
I never had a PS1. I never had one. If you remember, I was PC gaming hard at that point. I also got my PS2 modded. I had to send it out to a SoCal Mods, and they put that chip in there so I could play the DVD, the burned DVDs and stuff. I liked a PS2.
So when did PS3 come out?
Don't ask me. I have no idea.
No, because the thing. Okay, so here's the thing. I believe because I think Charles found the PS3 the one time we were at like a Toys R Us. He found it at a Toys R Us. And that was the one you had to look for months, right?
I think it
PS3
came out in 2006,
originally?
2007, somewhere in there.
Let's see if mine has a date on it. It's a launch title or pretty close to it.
Okay, because for whatever reason, in my mind, I remember having PS3 when I moved to law school in 2003. But this would have had to have come out in 2000, so maybe
this
not.
This is not a George Foreman grill, folks. This is
my PS3 that sits out on my.
Yeah, I still have a PS3 sitting out as well. So
let's see if I can get a date of manufacture on this thing here. This says it's manufactured September of 2008. So this is a 12-year-old console. 13-year-old.
I just looked it up. PS3 was released in 2006. So it's PS2 that was the first one that was really hard to get.
Yeah.
Because I remember we couldn't find it, and then Charles found I think Charles found a Toys R Us that had a bunch of them.
Yeah. I got lucky because of Louise at Sears. It's the only reason I got mine at launch.
PS2 is a great piece of hardware. PS3 had great games. It was hard to develop for because the cell architecture.
Yeah, it felt like Xbox 360, which came out about the same time, got a lot of the games faster and ran better.
And it also had a better online community, I'd argue, too.
So there's a little look at old gaming news. And
but
Charles,
again, as we age, man, when I tell people at work my daughter's going to be 9 this month, they are like, "How old is your daughter? Like 3? No, she's 9. Like, wait, what?" Like
when I posted the Central Michigan
that.
stuff, Bill's mom was like, "She's 17." Bill's mom was like,
"I know it's hard for me to look at and to think that because my anniversary's coming up in like a week, and that's 9 years." So
wow, just no clue. You get into that grind of work, man, and you just kind of just continue on,
and then you're dead.
Yeah, I'm like another thing. I'm 15 years out of law school, and I wasn't like real young when I went. Yeah. So
well, we joke all the time that we're 3 years into this adventure. So what the hell are we doing?
So Charles, no real UFC news. Well, there was a pay-per-view, but nobody watched it.
Yeah.
But there was a little news article I caught, and I don't know.
This is a big deal. I know exactly. Beckel, the company that owns Jose Cuervo and puts out Jose Cuervo tequila, was an initial primary investor that bought 49% of Proper 12, Steve's favorite Irish whiskey. He's a big fan of it, ladies and gentlemen.
I do like some Proper 12.
He does like Proper 12. Conor McGregor, notwithstanding, Steve does love it. And they had an option to buy out the other 51, and they're exercising that option. And he's going to get 140 million pounds, which is like something crazy or something. Just an insane amount of cabbage going to this guy. He's never fighting again. Like, and if he does, he's gonna get whooped. He's just gonna go, I'm out. Like, what am I doing? What do you got, BB?
Will he get all of that because he founded a company?
Correct,
Is
and he's
all
got
of him?
There's two people that started the company that he worked alongside someone else, and then they brought in. I read a whole article. They brought in this Beckel company to kind of work out the distribution of it and all this kind of stuff and kind of next level him. And that, again, that initial part was them buying the 49% and leaving the 51. I want to say it's McGregor and two other people own the other 51. And now they're buying it all out. And, man, what a payday for McGregor, boy. See you later. He's going to buy some gaudy watches with that loot.
Yeah,
well, he may need that now since it looks like his pugilism career is coming.
I don't think he cares, though, BB.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. I mean, it's, he's...
Paul brothers will always sign up to fight him.
Well, no,
it's not that. He'll just pivot to wrestling.
Yeah, are the days are the days of him being able to make 9-figure paydays?
No.
Or, excuse me, in a fight.
No,
is that?
I think they're still there. I think he's got, if he can win the next 2 fights and stuff like that and still maintain that top echelon stuff, I think he's there. If he drops the next one, then we're really going to have that WWE. You're going to wait for a Raw episode where he comes running in or something crazy.
AEW Dynamite.
Christian Cage.
He's not going to make $100 million in any UFC fight.
No, dude, this is crazy.
That has to be like a cross thing with cross sport fight. With
well, and the other thing they're not disclosing in this agreement too is what is his involvement going forward. So he could be like a Dana White type character. Where not only are they going to pay him out his other chunk, he's also still going to be like the brand ambassador, kind of like Dana White is. So he still could be out pimping Proper 12, making bank still on the payroll. This is crazy.
And getting in a fight with old guys in a bar.
Yeah, smacking the shit out of some old dude. But Steve loves it.
Man, it goes down easy. I don't know why. It's one of the slickers that just talks to me. It goes down easy.
Steve's like, if I'm honest. BB's not into it.
I couldn't handle it.
I didn't think it went down easy at all. Especially compared
Steve
to some of the other Irish whiskeys. Jameson goes down much easier.
Steve likes it though. It's in that right price range for Steve too. He don't give a
like
shit.
$20. Give me a bottle. Down it goes. So, anyways, I got a rant, and I haven't had a rant in a little while because
life has been so good. Steve's been getting free money.
Yeah, free money. I got a profit sharing check yesterday.
Whoa, man, Randy via Metro
sold my PS4 for $300.
Yeah, fun story.
So we got. I've been rolling in some money. So I took my money and I went over to Taylor and Gardner White.
Okay,
and that's where my problems begin. So we go to Gardner White, and the salesman comes over. He's got
Seems like this time of year, everyone's buying furniture.
Yeah.
It's a big time of year, that first quarter of the year, people get tax returns. And, people love to buy furniture first quarter.
And as you know, as we covered with the Dog Perch, my dog ruined my furniture, so I needed some new furniture.
It was time, yeah.
It was time. And the sales process wasn't bad, but you're right, salesmen and commission people are annoying. But it wasn't all that bad. And, a funny side note, I bought a love seat, all leather, power recline like yours, because I fell in love with that headrest you have in here.
Yeah, it's nice.
And I got a big recliner. So what we're going to do is get rid of the couch and the love seat.
You want to change how you configure your layout a little bit.
So, and we also paid $100 each for the love seat and sofa for them to take away the old stuff. $200 for them to take the old stuff away.
Okay.
And now keep that in mind while the story goes on. A funny side note, though, is when we were buying our
How much did you pay for them to just haul it? $200 for them to haul it away? Just curb that shit for free.
Well, first off, you buy a legitimate furniture store. They should haul that away for free.
Well, you're talking about Gardner
That should be
White,
part of the deal.
So you got Gardner White. So.
I'm cheap. I'd have threw that shit on the curb myself. You could have called me. We could have schlepped that shit.
I could have, or just paid them.
Yeah, I guess
Uncle Joe's paying for it.
Got that BV money.
I got that money. BV and Scott are paying for my furniture.
Never mind. Yeah, go for it.
So I was like, fuck it, have them take it.
BV's paying for it. Put on the curb.
So the funny thing is, as we're paying for it, Dad walks in. He was at Gardner White buying furniture too. So
everyone
buying furniture this weekend. So the guy tells us, he goes, "You're good. You're in new. Good luck. Your love seat and your chair are in stock right now. We can give it to you tonight." Now, if anyone follows the podcast, knows my wife's a little messy, a little bit of a hoarder.
Yeah.
So we don't want it tonight. We bought it last Saturday. Bring it to us next Sunday. We'll be at Central Michigan Saturday, so bring it to us Sunday. We'll clean up the living room, get it ready.
Get your space prepped. Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Everything's going great so far. For zero financing, no sales tax. Everything's going good.
What are
He's
you
very
paying
friendly.
for these 2 items?
Everything all together is $3,500.
Furniture.
I know. It's top of the line. They tell me this all the time.
Yeah.
Top of the line leather, top of the line stuffing. The dog's not going to ruin it. I don't believe him about a Dog Perch. But anyways, so
the other thing that's crazy about leather, I don't want to derail you, but like they only put the leather where it touches you. That's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
So like even on our couch, like it's wherever you would see it's leather, but like if you like pull back like a little edge or something, it's like generic vinyl.
Yeah.
It's like what the hell?
So
Most leathers now too are not they're not natural leathers. Most of them are now man-made leathers.
yeah. So I don't know. They were, this is made from space cows and it's supposed to be great and all this shit. It was comfortable. It was big. It has my headrest, electric headrest.
Just checking the box.
That I totally blame Charles for. I would never fell in love with that until I tried it at Charles' house. So
Well, you really can't get
we
them
were
without
happy.
that feature anymore.
Up until this point, we're happy. So Saturday we're at CMU. Sunday we get a text. Michelle gets a text. Your delivery will be there between 9:30 and noon. Okay, cool. Don't hear
3-hour
anything else
window,
from her.
yeah.
10 a.m. shows up. Truck's there. Oh man, this is going good. No problems. Now, fast forward or rewind 2 years ago, we got a bed from them. They only delivered our box spring, didn't have our mattress. Had to wait another 4 days. They came back with the mattress.
Wow.
And then they took our old one and everything. So I thought that was an anomaly. Oh, nay, they say.
Wow.
So he comes in. All these guys, the recliner. I'm like, well, where's the... did someone call you? No one's called us. Yeah, the love seat, the cord got cut in the warehouse that connects it, and we didn't have an extra cord, so now you got to wait on a cord.
Mine are just like PC cords.
Yeah, that's what it
That's
looked
what
like
it
on the
was. It
recliner.
looked like like the 3-prong PC kind of.
Well, no, the box that goes in the wall is a big box.
Oh, never mind. Okay, you're a little different.
So I was like, well, all right, is there a date? We don't. They're going to call you with a date. I was like, all right, well, can you take the old furniture? We paid for that. No. What do you mean, no? He goes,
$200 a piece.
well, since we don't have the full order, we can't take these. It's like leave one, take one kind of thing. So I go get the paperwork and I show him, look, we paid $200. Look, right here. So if I love you, you take $200. He wouldn't take them. So finally, after I showed him the paper, he just took our love seat, left the couch. In the end, it's probably good because we need somewhere to sit. All we have is a recliner. Which now I'm annoyed. No one called me. And I know shit happens. Everyone knows shit happens. And when I understand it's COVID, so things are taking a while.
That and customer service is dead in America.
Yeah. So now I'm irritated. And then they wouldn't take the stuff. And Michelle's pissed. And then they left. No date on when the fucking love seat's coming in. So
Could be next month. It could be next year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Michelle goes up to Gardner White. We're only 3 minutes from Gardner
Yeah, you're
White.
right around the corner.
She walks in with the paperwork. Hey, and then she runs into this female manager. And she goes, when are we getting our love seat? And how come no one called us? And this is terrible customer service. Oh, let me look. Well, they shouldn't have told you it was in stock. It was never in stock. It'll be at the end of the month. I threw the paper at Michelle and walked away.
Oh, wow.
Michelle was pissed. She's like, what kind of service is this? I'm going to give you a bad review on Google or Facebook, because I told her to do that. Whatever, do what you got to do. Walked away.
Oh, my God.
What the
told Michelle to
fuck?
kick rocks. Huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
So she gets home, got nothing, got no date. So now I get pissed. I call the I call the corporate number, and all that does is reroute you back to the store. So I get our salesman Kevin, and I went off, told him the whole story. They wouldn't fucking take the things. I didn't cuss though.
Make sure.
I know the game. You can't cuss because then they can say you're ornery and hang up the phone.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, Mr. Markey. Let me find out. He comes back. I'll give you $100 off on all the delivery stuff, and let me get a date for you. Okay, well now I'm calming down. You gave me $100 off. All right, fine. This is Sunday. Still haven't had a date. I have no idea when my love seat.
You don't know when you're going to get the other
So
piece,
I went to the website today, found the corporate contact the information.
Just trying to
filled that
shake
out.
some trees. Yeah.
Have not heard back from them either. So I have no idea when I'm getting my love seat.
Could be a month. Could be 2 months. Could be in the summer.
So then I'm starting to read the reviews on Facebook and Google, and they're all it's all with that delivery. Salespeople are fine. They're friendly. But then you wait 2, 3, 4 months for your stuff. And they're blaming COVID, of course.
Yeah,
and then they also do the delivery company is a different company from Gardner White. So it's
third party.
It's them.
Yeah,
it's not us. And then no one's responding or So I got an expensive car. I don't know when I'm going to get it.
Who is supposed to sit in the recliner? So
Me.
so your piece showed up. You're like, all right, well,
Yeah, and
this
then
sounds
our
like
love
more of a Michelle problem than
Yeah.
Steve.
So our love seat's going to be like this. Our TV's there.
Yeah.
Our recliner's going to be
How
there.
are you powering it?
The wall.
So there's a clean way to get the juice over
we,
to.
we
Yeah.
got a wall socket right there. It's empty.
Oh, okay.
So you can put it on that.
Because I'm like, you don't want like the cord kind of. Yeah.
Everything will be good, but
When that's going to be is a whole other conversation.
yeah. So weekly I will inform you guys on when my
Wow.
if I ever find out again.
So no one can give you even the manager at the place could not give you like a heads up on the date, like the system or whatever couldn't tell her.
No, nothing.
Wow.
All they told me, the only thing we got was end of the month. And what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, wow, that's crazy.
So I just call off the whole week and just wait, sit around the house.
Yeah, wow.
So if I don't hear anything by Friday, I'm going to call the salesman again. And I don't want to be at home, but
no,
just give
you
me
gotta be. It's a serious. Dude, just stop worrying
give
about
me
that guy.
Give me a date, and I'll leave you alone.
Yeah. Give me a hard date so I can plan my life around your
And
bullshit.
then on that date, when it
Yeah.
doesn't show up, I'm going to have to call and cuss you out again.
Well, at this point now too, like you can't. I mean, they've taken your love seat, right? So you can't exactly. You can't even really. I mean, you cancel the order, but you're still then not going to have furniture.
Yeah.
And they may not let you cancel because you've taken delivery apart. That's why when you originally mentioned to me, I said, well, I think what I would have done there is just refuse to accept delivery until they had the entire thing.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a better move? What?
Yeah, because in some of the reviews, this is their other move. If you cancel the order and you took some of it, they charge you a 25% restocking fee.
Yeah.
Non-refundable.
Whereas
I
if you refuse delivery, then you can go back to the phone and say, look, you didn't call me ahead of time. I didn't know. You don't have the entire order. I'm not accepting the order. So you're either going to have to get me this furniture and give me a date when I'm going to have it and come with all of it and then redo it all, or we're going to cancel the entire thing right now and you give me my money back.
Oh, okay.
But also, there's
That's a
reviews
pro
where
tip.
people have done that, and then
They still hit him with a fee?
it took them 2 months to get their money back.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we're sorry, we haven't got it. It's going to go through our transfer.
Jeez.
So Gardner White,
Wow.
I might have to look elsewhere next time.
I've bought several and again, not high end or whatever. I don't buy high end furniture. I always find it crazy that people spend a lot of money on furniture. It's been one of those things where like it's one of the things that me and your wife will never see eye to eye on when she buys these heirloom like real deal pieces of wood furniture that no one wants 6 months from now. Like, what's the point of this? Like, just go buy IKEA shit and be done with it. So I've bought like.
I want to throw that coffee table out so bad.
Yeah, it
She
doesn't-
knows it too.
because it doesn't make any sense. Like you paid, it has stellar craftsmanship. The problem is no one wants the bullshit. It's too heavy to move, and it's like, what am I going to do with this? Like the heirloom furniture shit is some shit that died years ago. No one wants. Holly's not going to be like, oh, my mom is giving me her coffee table. Like no,
Especially because the dog chewed all the corners.
See what I mean? So it's like I buy all of our like living room furniture at like Value City. I don't have that much drama of a story, but those delivery guys got one speed and it's 100 miles an hour, and
And from what I understand, because of this COVID this past year, I've read a lot
built-in
of reviews.
excuses.
Built-in
yeah.
excuses.
Yeah.
So. That'll do us for this week in our 2-hour epic of bitching about Gardner White and figuring out that Eddie Murphy still doesn't have it. Too bad. I wish he did. Of course, you can catch us on Apple iTunes, Google Play, Fat Guys Little Podcast, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. Wherever you can find a podcast, you can find us.
Name the platform.
Name the platform. So next week,
LG refrigerators on it.
yeah, that's right. We're on smart refrigerators.
Yeah.
I just had to replace my filter in my fridge. That's $45.
I don't do that
Yeah.
anymore. I have that whole house filter that it comes
I
off
need to
of.
invest
Yeah.
in that. Of course, next week we're going to do our big basketball tournament. You're going to listen to 4 guys that know nothing about college basketball, pick college basketball teams, and then bet on them, no less.
Let's
So
go.
you can play around and play along with us.
Get
and see
that
how much-
juice.
see which one of us actually wins money.
So don't fill out your brackets till you hear us next week, people.
So, of course, on behalf of Bill and Steve, we will see
Steve, you are Steve.
I'm on behalf of Bill. And
On
Steve.
behalf of myself.
And Charles, I'm on behalf of everybody. We
We'll
will
see.
catch you next week.